As Hazel May with you this afternoon. Looks like a beautiful day in Buffalo as we join you here from the Sportsnet studios in Toronto. Brandon Hyde and the Orioles have kind of fallen on hard times lately. They've lost 5 in a row and 11 of their last 13. A look at their starting lineup, which is brought to you by TD, proud fan and official bank of the Toronto Blue Jays, and that lineup includes a guy who hit not one but his first 2 home runs of his career in yesterday's game, and one of them went over the 60-foot netting beyond the left field fence and out onto the street. I think the Blue Jays will be hearing a lot about Mountcastle in the coming years.
Yeah, got a pretty good swing, and Chase Anderson's going to make his 5th start of the season. First time he's ever pitched against the Orioles, so he will try to build on that great outing he had last time out. He took the loss, but he gave the Blue Jays 5+ innings. He gave up 4 runs, 3 earned runs, and threw 83 pitches. So if he's effective, he should be able to throw about 100 pitches today and maybe get him into the 6th inning, hopefully maybe even the 7th. Take a look at the defense, and we're going to talk about the outfit of Gurriel, Grichuk, and Hernandez, and look at shortstop. Santiago Espinal is back. He last played shortstop on Wednesday. He had a bit of a hamstring issue. He's been working his way back. Good to have him back on the field, and he's actually done a pretty good job with the bat. We know he's a good defender. He's got good range, a strong arm, and excellent baseball instincts, and it's good to see him back there. With that, Joe Panik slides over, and he will start the game at third base this afternoon.
So the Blue Jays looking to keep the good times rolling right now. They have won 4 in a row, 11 of their last 14, trying to sweep the Orioles on trade deadline day. And the Blue Jays, if you didn't hear it, about 10 minutes ago, a move was made as they acquired starting pitcher Robbie Ray from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Shai Davidi reporting that Travis Bergen, the left-handed reliever the Blue Jays had with them just a few days ago, that he's going the other way. And Ray, as you well know, Buck, you go back, 2-3 years, he was one of the premier left-handed starting pitchers around, but he has fallen on hard times this year. He has walked 31 batters in 31 innings. There's no doubting how electric his arm is. The stuff is there. He's got 43 strikeouts in 31 innings, but he has had a terrible time with his command this year as Alberto is out in front of that one and sends it foul down the line. And maybe the Blue Jays have seen something that they think they could fix or turn around, and these are his career numbers. 28 years of age. He's a free agent at the end of the season, so it's another rental situation. They didn't give up a lot to get him, and presumably he will go into the starting rotation.
He was 15-5 in 2017, and if you look at a couple of numbers, I think he's got mechanical issues. He has walked 31. That's the most in the National League, and he's also thrown 6 wild pitches. So that's telling me he's got some sort of mechanical issues. And Alberto strikes out. He couldn't check his swing on that curveball, but I think Robbie Ray, maybe he'll come over here, get a new change of scenery, and get things turned around. This is a good curveball. Look at that overhand spin. That's that knuckle curve that Chase throws so well. Alberto chases the ball in the dirt. Danny Jansen blocks it, keeps it right at home plate. First out of the ball game.
Number 2 hitter is Anthony Santander, the right fielder for the Orioles, who has cooled off a little bit in recent days, hitting under 200 over his last 10 games, but still a dangerous guy and has had some big games against the Blue Jays. 10 home runs, 28 RBIs on the season. So we would guess that at least from a starting pitching point of view that the dealing is done. They've picked up Taijuan Walker, and now evidently they've picked up Robbie Ray, and they've got Hyun-Jin Ryu, Tanner Roark, and Chase Anderson. That looks like it'll be the rotation, at least in the short term, going forward.
Well, that's what you would think, and I don't know that Blue Jays are actually done. Maybe in the starting pitching department, you're right, but I think they're going to wait until they see Robbie Ray firsthand and watch him throw a little bit. There's a good changeup from Anderson. But you know what? This ball club, the Blue Jays, I don't know if the players really think they need any help. I mean, you and I from the outside, we're saying, yeah, they need a few pieces, and we've talked about it on the air a lot. But the ball club, the players themselves, I think they're pretty confident of the group they have.
And obviously hoping to get some pieces back in the next, say, week to 10 days. Daniel Vogelbach, one of the new acquisitions, but hoping to get back Guys like Ken Giles, Bo Bichette, hopefully Nate Pearson, maybe even Matt Shoemaker. But until you got him back, looks like Giles is getting close.
Yeah, I think Giles will probably be ready by the weekend. I expect that he will throw live. BP is scheduled tomorrow in Miami, and then probably take a day, maybe 2 days off, and have another session. Then he should be good to go.
If you missed some of the other deals that were announced today, Oakland picked up left-handed starter Mike Minor from Texas for a couple of players to be named later. And the San Diego Padres were at it again. They acquired Mike Clevenger from Cleveland. This ball is driven to right field and over the head of Teoscar Hernandez. Santander is into second base with a one-out double. So the Padres, who are definitely like all in this year, traded a total of 6 players, including 2 Canadians, Cal Quantrill and Josh Naylor, going to Cleveland as part of the return on Mike Clevenger.
Yeah, they were really busy as you take a look at that Santander double. Hey, one hops the fence in right center, and for him, that's his 12th double of the season. He's got 12 doubles, a triple, and 10 home runs. He's a pretty good hitter.
So 1 on 1 out for the Orioles in the top of the first, and now Jose Iglesias, who we talked about yesterday. We thought there was an excellent chance he would be traded by the deadline at 4 o'clock today, and there still could be. Guys have gotten traded before when they've been in the lineup, but as of now, he is still an Oriole.
Yeah, and you know, when teams start making trades, it changes the landscape for other teams, and you see a guy off the books, and maybe you had aspirations of getting him, and you got to switch gears, and all of a sudden you make a last-minute call to the Orioles. Open up talks on Iglesias possibly. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex Cobb is not an Oriole at 4 o'clock. He's got a nice history of pitching well, and I think it's just a matter of the price that the Orioles would demand. I think they'd like to move him. He's got a big contract.
And Iglesias swinging the bat well, a good shortstop. Fastball, and Iglesias took it all the way and took it for a strike. 2-1.
Iglesias had a good series, had a couple of hits, including an RBI single in the 9th inning. That gave the Orioles the lead in the top of the 9th.
A look back at Santander, and the 2-1 bounced foul up the third baseline. 2-2. So again, the trade deadline is at 4 o'clock Eastern time today. The Blue Jays picked up a couple of ex-Mariners recently, and you're looking at them. Daniel Vogelbach and Taijuan Walker. Walker's so good in his debut a couple of nights ago. Now they have also acquired Robbie Ray from Arizona, but it wouldn't be shocking if something else was done between now and the deadline, maybe on the position player side. Lined into right field. That is a base hit for Iglesias. Santander read it well, and he'll come in to score without a throw, and the Orioles take a first-inning lead.
Boy, Iglesias is off to a great start to his season with the bat. That's his 29th hit, and he drives in the first run of the ball game. Santander got a good break from second base, and by the time Teoscar picks it up, he's past third base and scores easily. Well, the Orioles have an early lead. You know, to finish up a little bit on Robbie Ray, it's really interesting because Taijuan Walker and Robbie Ray were teammates. You just wonder if they had a conversation with Taijuan Walker to say, what do you think's going on with Robbie Ray? Do you think he's just going through a mechanical issue right now? It's invaluable to have a former teammate of somebody you're trying to trade for to go to him and talk to him and see his feelings about him. You get a totally different perspective when you get a player's point of view.
That's a great point. Wouldn't Caleb Joseph know him a little bit? He was with Arizona for a little while last year, right?
Yeah, and Caleb, you know what? He's not on this active roster, but he's been a pretty important part of this team and what they're doing. You know, Caleb's a guy that started at 3 stars of the game, and he's had impact on some of the young players. And yeah, you go around the players, and when you start to investigate a particular player, you look on your roster and said, who might know this guy, whether it's a coach, a player. Somebody that would know him and give you a little more insight.
Joseph, as the catcher on the taxi squad, is with the Blue Jays every day, home and away, part of the traveling roster. Swing and a miss at the curveball, and Nunez down on strikes. You know, they might even go to a guy like Joe Panik and say, hey, you faced this guy for a number of years when you were with the Giants. What do you see? What do you think? The more information you can get, the better. And obviously they think that they can unlock something or improve something quickly with Robbie Ray.
Yeah. And he had a 15-5 season a couple of years ago with Arizona. He was an all-star. And we noted the strikeouts. It's there. But there's something going on with his mechanics to have 6 wild pitches and lead the National League in walks.
He last pitched 5 days ago. And again, we don't know exactly when he will meet up with the Blue Jays, get through the COVID intake process. They've got a bullpen day for tomorrow, and you know, could be Julian Merriweather starting again tomorrow if he's not needed today. They've also got a doubleheader coming up Friday in Boston, so maybe that's a more realistic time frame for him to make his Blue Jays debut, but it'll all come out in the wash over the next few days. Swing and a miss, 1-1 on Pedro Severino, the Baltimore catcher. The Blue Jays continue to sit in the 8th and final playoff spot in the American League. The Orioles aren't their closest competitors behind them right now. It's the Detroit Tigers, who are playing very good baseball, who have moved up to 500. They are 2 games back of the Blue Jays for the last playoff spot. And in front of them, the Astros and the Twins are only a half game ahead of the Blue Jays, and the Yankees are only 1 game ahead of the Blue Jays. And that's with a doubleheader sweep for the Yankees yesterday.
Yeah, this thing's going to change quite a bit. There are not many teams beyond those clubs you mentioned that have any sort of chance at the postseason, unlike the National League, where I think there are 11 teams that are in play for those 8 postseason berths.
Arizona, if you're wondering, they are 14-21, last place in the National League West, and have lost 9 of their last 10. So that's why they were in a selling mode. Inside with a changeup, 3-1 on Severino. I guess you could say about Ray, he's a high ceiling, but maybe also a low floor guy. Like some guys, you know, take an Anderson and a Roark. Chase Anderson and Tanner Roark, I think they're very known commodities. You know, mid to back end rotation, not overpowering stuff. Ray's a guy who, if everything's great, he's great, but obviously with the control issues, you know, he can have some rough spots as well. Runner will be on the move. Iglesias from first with 2 down, and a full count on Severino. And he got him. Fastball looking to retire the side, but the Orioles do get a run. Blue Jays coming up. First, Blue Jay lineup. The Blue Jays scoring over 6.5 runs per game in their 12 games in Buffalo. They all seem to like hitting there. Teoscar Hernandez seems to like hitting everywhere right about now. Drove in the game-winning hit last night, walked it off, and he's on an 11-game hitting streak, hitting .368 during that stretch.
The Orioles will start a rookie, Keegan Aiken. He's 25 years old. He is a former second-round pick out of Western Michigan University back in 2016. He had a great year last year in AAA. In fact, he started the International League AAA All-Star game for the International League, and he led the league in strikeouts, had 131 strikeouts. He's a 3-pitch pitcher. We really don't know an awful lot about him. This is only his 3rd major league appearance.
Yeah, this was Tommy Milone's spot, but the Orioles traded Tommy Milone to Atlanta. And did you see the crazy game the Phillies and Braves had last night? It was 10-0 Atlanta, and then Milone came out and gave up like 7 runs in the 2nd inning, and I think Atlanta won it, was it 13-11 or something like that?
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Lots of offense, obviously, with those 2 teams.
0-2 quickly on Cavan Biggio, and Aiken just struck him out on 3 pitches.
One away. Let's take a look at the Orioles defensive alignment this afternoon. Mountcastle is in left. Cedric Mullins is back in center. And Anthony Santander is the right fielder. We're going to highlight the catcher here in this game this afternoon, Pedro Severino. And with a rookie making his first start, I like the way Severino takes charge of the ball game behind the plate. He gives his signals with total conviction. He will emphasize where he wants the ball. He's always encouraging his pitcher to give him his best pitch. Presents a great target, down low, real quiet behind the plate. I like Severino.
And the defense is brought to you by TD, proud fan and official bank of the Toronto Blue Jays. Randall Grichuk lifts a fly ball to left field, fairly deep, but it'll be playable for Mountcastle coming over near the line. By the time it's all said and done, 2 down.
Now batting the first baseman, number 27,
Well, the Orioles, they're in a deep rebuild, of course, as they have fallen from fortunes. It wasn't that long ago that the Orioles and the Blue Jays were playing in a wild card game.
2 down for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is on a 12-game hitting streak. In yesterday's game, Vladdy went 1 for 3 with a walk, drove in a run with a base hit to left center field. Blue Jays opting for the new blue uniforms here on this Monday afternoon. They're headed down to Florida tonight. We'll start a 2-gamer with the Marlins tomorrow night. Speaking of the Marlins, there have been a lot of Jonathan Villar rumors out there today that the Blue Jays and Marlins are talking about the versatile switch hitter.
I think Villar's an interesting guy, and Blue Jays, of course, saw him the last couple of years with the Orioles. He was traded from Milwaukee to Baltimore mid-season in 2018, and he's an interesting guy. He can do a lot of things to help you. That's the fact he's a switch hitter. Primarily plays shortstop, can play second, can play in the outfield, and he's a leadoff type of hitter with some speed.
Just over an hour and a half until the trade deadline, 4 o'clock Eastern. Guerrero gets jammed, hits one down to first, and Aiken over to cover in time as Keegan Aiken sets the Blue Jays down in order in the bottom of the first on Sportsnet and CBC. Staff, fans, kids, pets. Your granddaughters are out there somewhere?
My granddaughters, Laura and Zoe, are both out there. That's pretty awesome. They did such a great job making this as comfortable as can be. Tell you what, the players have really embraced it. It's their home ballpark.
They're playing like they like playing there. They're playing really well in Buffalo. Chance Cisco leads it off, and he ropes one into the right field corner, and that's going to get down for extra bases. A long run for Hernandez, but Cisco, who's DHing today, but he's a catcher, does not run all that well, and he'll hold up at second with a leadoff double.
Yeah, they kind of crossed up the defense. They were playing him opposite field in the outfield, and Teoscar has a long run. This is a changeup. And if you're going to play the defense opposite field, changeup is not the right pitch to throw him because it's a pitch he can pull. So he pulls it down into the corner and kind of crossed up the defense, and he gets himself a leadoff double.
And now it's that guy, Ryan Mountcastle, hit his first 2 big league home runs in yesterday's game. Fastball for a strike. And the first one especially was a doozy, a no-doubter. Looks like the Orioles are trying to, well, at least in some of their recent drafts, go the position player route. They've got a catcher, Adley Rutschman, the former #1 pick, who everybody says is going to be just fantastic in the big leagues.
Yeah, Rutschman was the first overall pick in this last draft, and he is by all reports, he's a leader behind the plate. He's comes from a great coaching family. His grandfather and his father, both big-time coaches in Oregon.
And then they had the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft and took an outfielder, Heston Kierstad, who is very highly thought of, but it was considered a bit of a surprise. Maybe they thought that they could sign him for a little bit below slot value, use some extra money later on in the draft, but it was the Orioles taking Kierstad that in many ways enabled the Blue Jays to take Austin Martin with the 5th overall pick. I promise you at some point I will call Heston Kierstad Keston Hierstad.
I'm not even going there. I'm not talking about him till he's in the big leagues.
Rio Ruiz on deck for the Orioles. 1-0 Baltimore in the second. And a leadoff double for Chance Sisco. And a 3-1 count on Mountcastle. Fouled off. Got a piece of Jansen, but he looks all right. And it's 3-2.
Yeah, just like the Blue Jays, we're getting our first look at Mountcastle. And just from what I have seen, the path of his bat and way he sets up, I think he's a better low ball hitter than up. 2 home runs yesterday, his first 2 big league homers. But he obviously is such a little sample size, it's hard to really imagine. But if I were going to throw a pitch to him right now, I'd throw fastball up and away. See if you can't hit that top of the strike zone with it.
Got him to swing at a fastball outside. 1 down.
Rake in the deals during Home Hardware's fall savings sale. On now till September 16th. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers. Here's how.
Second inning as the Blue Jays and Orioles meet again in downtown Buffalo at Salem Field, which has been the Blue Jays' home and will continue to be the Blue Jays' home for the duration of the 2020 season. They're down 1-0. Here's Rio Ruiz, the third baseman, hitting just .188 on the season. We will keep you updated as best we can during the game of any other moves that get made, whether they're by the Blue Jays or anybody. The news will probably come in fast and furious as we get closer to 4 o'clock. I would imagine that there will be a number of other deals around the majors. I guess one of the issues is with more teams making the playoffs this year, there are fewer sellers, fewer teams that are out of it and looking to dump some salaries.
I think there are probably a couple of contending teams that are trying to swap strengths. You know, if a team has a particular area of strength and they have a weakness and you team up with another contending team, you might trade. Tampa Bay, for instance, they got a bunch of outfielders. So if they're looking to add to their pitching staff, which they should be, you can trade from your strength, that being the outfield.
Yeah, I thought the Clevenger deal might be that kind of a trade where Cleveland would get back a legitimate big-time outfielder because they have needs in the outfield right now. But they traded Clevenger to San Diego in a 6-for-2 deal, and Josh Naylor is going to go into their outfield. Evidently, he's going to play left field for the Indians.
Yeah, the Indians need some offense, and I'm with you. I thought maybe Tampa Bay might be one of those clubs.
Changeup bounced foul up the first baseline.
For instance, just think about the possibility of trading maybe Hunter Renfroe and Manuel Margot to Cleveland. They need outfielders, and both of those guys, I mean, Renfroe's got power. Margot's a terrific center fielder with a good start offensively this year. That would make a good trade in my mind.
Yep. Atlanta's got depth in the outfield, and they've got a need in their rotation.
But I think Tampa Bay probably has the biggest surplus of outfielders.
Sisco out at second. And the 2-2 to Ruiz. Swing and a miss at a well-located fastball, 2 down. And all 5 outs for Chase Anderson today have come via the strikeout.
Yeah, I think the Blue Jays are doing a better job of using their fastballs lately. This is a 4-seam fastball. He gets on top of it and runs it to the top of the zone, and Ruiz with 2 strikes is late. You know, most hitters in the big leagues now, they get 2 strikes and they're conscientious of cutting their swing down, and that makes them better breaking ball hitters than fastball hitters.
Number 9 hitter is the center fielder, Cedric Mullins. Play on at second. and back in safely. See, Espinal is out there at short after missing the last 3 games with some tightness in his hamstring. Joe Panik is at third base today. Travis Shaw is not in the lineup this afternoon for the Blue Jays, nor is Rowdy Tellez. Daniel Vogelback is getting the start at designated hitter.
Mullins entered the game yesterday as a defensive replacement in the 8th inning. Mason Williams started in center.
Only one other game going on this early in the day, and it involves the team the Blue Jays will play tomorrow night. The Marlins are in New York taking on the Mets. Jacob deGrom and the Mets have an early 2-0 lead.
But that's not secure. Jacob deGrom has had 30 wins blown for him in his Mets career. 30 wins. Wow. And the Mets, I believe the Mets have blown 11 so far this season.
Well, game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday was something else. They were up 7-2 in the 7th inning, which was the last inning of the doubleheader, and couldn't get it done. Taijuan Walker had a terrific outing a couple of days ago in his Blue Jays debut. And Pete Walker raved about him today. Pete was the pregame Zoom guy today, and he talked about how Walker was everything he had heard about and more. The competitive nature. He said, I think his stuff will tick up a little bit in terms of his secondary pitches, you know, considering all he's been through in the last few days and flying cross country. Remember, his family reportedly lost everything in the hurricane just a day or 2 before he became a Blue Jay. He was telling us that his dad told him that, and Pete Walker's a big fan of Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, and you're right. He pitched really well, but you know, he hadn't pitched in a while. They'd skipped his start. He got traded on his start day, and yeah, he's going to be a good addition.
And down on strikes is Mullins. So 6 strikeouts through 2 innings for Chase Anderson.
Much hitting we've witnessed this season. Post-game, Hernandez told me he believed the O's game plan was to come in on him. I realized they're going to pitch me with sinkers and fastballs up and middle in, and I made the adjustment and put a good swing on the fastball. Dante Bichette said Hernandez has incorporated the front leg turn that Bo uses in his 2-strike approach, except Hernandez uses it the entire at-bat. Dan, it's obviously working.
Definitely, Hazel. The numbers bear that out. Dante Bichette talked about it in his Zoom call with the media yesterday. It's noticeable, the change in approach, the change in a mindset, Buck, and huge improvements for Teoscar.
Yeah, and he's not in any panic mode at all. You know, oftentimes we would see him where you could sense that it wasn't going to go well for him, but now he's so relaxed he can take a first pitch strike and have no worries. And that's the biggest improvement in my mind, is the ability to lay off those breaking balls. I mean, he would wail at breaking balls as soon as the pitcher left his hand, and he would flip it up there and Teoscar would wail at it, but now he's much more selective. Thought that ball was a little bit up and away. Hazel did a good job of describing that approach that he has taken from Bo Bichette's two-strike approach. See how he leaves his front foot still intact with the ground where he used to have a leg kick, and what that does is it eliminates a lot of movement and a lot of timing issues. He just pushes back on that left foot.
Well, let's take a look. Buck, take us through what you've noticed here.
Well, last season's on the left, and watch his front foot and watch how high that leg kick is, and this really creates some timing issues. Plus, he doesn't get his hip turned. Notice his left hip, it's not turned as dramatically as his right hip. And the biggest thing about it is that, take a look at the right panel now, toes on the ground. Look at his hip and how much more torque he has, and he's really committed to this swing. So now he can uncoil and rotate, and that bat has been flying through the zone. Foul tip, and Severino said he didn't foul that ball. But Teoscar just stays right there at home and sells it to the umpire.
It feels like more and more hitters, especially power guys, are learning they don't need a big leg kick to do big damage. I don't know if he fouled that ball.
He never
off.
came close to hitting that ball. That's why Severino was anxious to tag him.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The leg kick has kind of lost its pizzazz, if you will. And Guillermo Martinez and Dante Bichette have done a great job of selling these hitters on the right setup and the right bat path. How the bat has to travel through the zone to make contact with the various pitches they have to deal with.
Swing and a miss at a fastball away, one down. Well, so far for a guy making only his third major league appearance and his first major league start, Keegan Aiken looks settled in nicely in the big leagues.
Well, he's throwing strikes, and this is just a four-seam fastball, outer part of the plate with two strikes, and Teoscar swings and misses, second strikeout. 4 in a row, retired by Aiken. You know, this is a guy that's kind of tough in this day and age when everybody relies on video and scouting reports and looking at information. There's not much information on Aiken. So you got to play it old-fashioned baseball, Dan. Go up to the plate and look and see what you're dealing with.
And I'm sure as each hitter is going back to the dugout, they're trying to share information with the next guy. Belt tie strike, and it's 2-1 on Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Gurriel hitting .241 with 4 homers. And there's a changeup that Gurriel chases, 2-2. Aiken wants to work quickly, doesn't he? Lashed down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Couple of bounces up against the wall, and Gurriel on his way to second and in there with a double.
Gurriel is lightning quick inside. It's very difficult to get a fastball past him. He turns and he's able to keep it fair down the left field line all the way up against the fence. And Gurriel will slide in safely, well ahead of the throw. Well, Gurriel, that's just his 7th double of the season, and you can see Blue Jays have really done a great job of hitting in this ballpark. Home runs and doubles, and they have really made this a very popular home field for them.
Here is Daniel Vogelbach getting his first start for the Blue Jays. He's the DH today. They picked him up from Seattle for cash considerations. As you can see, he was off to a tough start with the Mariners this year before he was DFA'd, but hit 30 home runs last year, had a big first half, was an all-star last year, and is a guy who knows not one but both of the coaches on the Blue Jays who handle the hitters. Guillermo Martinez was his Double-A hitting coach, and he grew up playing with Dante Bichette Jr. So Senior has known him for years and years. And within minutes of the Blue Jays acquiring him, both Guillermo Martinez and Dante Bichette Sr. both reached out to Vogelbach to welcome him to the Blue Jays. He is a very patient hitter. Now Aiken just threw him 2 terrific breaking balls right at the knees, but one thing Vogelbach has always been known for is his eye. As Guillermo Martinez looks on.
He had 92 walks last year. but he also had 149 strikeouts. So you got to find a happy medium in there. You have to be, as you said yesterday, selectively aggressive.
Or aggressively selective, whichever one you want to be. Outside, 3-2. Defensively, he is limited to first base, if that. The Blue Jays seem to be looking at him as an occasional DH and some potential thunder off the bench in a pinch hitting role. Sends it foul down the line.
It looks like the hitting coaches have already had an impact on him where he's able to fight off that pitch and line it down left field side.
And strike 3 at the knees, 2 down.
Now batting the catcher.
Fastball right at the bottom of the zone. You could see that Vogelbach tossed his bat aside, thought it was ball 4. He had a good look at it, and Severino presents it very well for Jeremy Riggs, the home plate umpire. Severino just kind of hangs on to it, holds it right there. The umpire gave it a look and calls Vogelbach out.
Now Danny Jansen. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Jansen hitting 159 on the season. Blue Jay lineup looks a little bit different today. Travis Shaw's not in there. Rowdy Tellez is not in there. So the bottom part of the order is Vogelbach to Jansen to Panik to Espinal. And there are a couple of guys who could, of course, be pressed into action a little bit later on today. Change up. He didn't go 2-1. Give you the daily Bo Bichette update. Today is, and this is from the Blue Jays themselves, today is a recovery day. It's a cardio and lifting day, so it doesn't sound like Bo was on the field doing anything before the game today.
I think I need a recovery day.
But will it involve cardio and lifting, or do you mean like a real recovery day?
I'm not really good at a day game after a day game. Recovery day.
You need some load management.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well, we can limit you to a certain number of pitches.
My word count really went up the door yesterday. I had a big word count yesterday.
Breaking ball down low, and 3-2 on Jansen.
Again, you see the catcher Severino back behind there. He's very animated. We talked about him at the start of the show, how he can really help a young pitcher like Aiken just with his emotions and approval after a particular pitch.
Setting up inside and fouled back.
He's got the baseball encyclopedia on his forearm there. And he's got all kinds of information on that forearm. Take a look at it when he puts his glove up, and it's just one of those things. That's Major League Baseball nowadays, where they have all the scouting report right there on their forearm, just like Tom Brady.
And Jansen will take a walk. Took a pitch just below the knees for ball 4. Well, they're seeing some pitches, Buck. He's faced 7 batters and he's thrown 38 pitches.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. When you're facing a guy for the first time, you don't have any idea about his velocity, his movement, what kind of breaking ball he has. So you're better off to go up there and look at a few pitches. It's just the second inning. They got a lot of time to get to Keegan Aiken.
We're seeing more changeups than he has thrown in his first 2 appearances, which granted were both relief appearances. So maybe now that he's starting, we're seeing more of a mix. He's fastball, slider, change. The slider's only about 79, 80 miles an hour. Almost acts more like a curveball. Right?
And it's actually about the same speed as his changeup, which you don't see all that often.
Panik sends a fly ball to left center field. Mullins is there, and the side is retired as the Blue Jays leave a couple of men on in the bottom of the second. the Orioles. The prize currently stands at over $11,000. Don't miss out. Get your tickets now from anywhere in Ontario at bluejays.com/5050. You can't win if you don't play, as they say. Blue Jays down 1-0 going to the top of the third. The Orioles getting their run on an RBI single by Jose Iglesias back in the first inning. Of the 6 out Chase Anderson has, all 6 of them have been strikeouts. Top of the order, Alberto, Santander, and Iglesias here in the third inning. And a bouncer hit to third. In on the grass is Panic for the easy play.
I love the way that Chase Anderson's using his fastball today. He struck out all 3 batters in the second inning after that leadoff double on fastballs. And I really like the fact that that was in the bottom of the order. You know, these guys in the bottom of the order, they're down there because they're not the best hitters on the team. So you go right after them with your fastball.
Now Anthony Santander, he gets a fastball, lines it to second. Biggio says, I caught it, shows it to the ump. The out confirmed, 2 down.
Well, another fastball. Yeah, it was hit hard, but the defense made a play. You know, you give your defense a chance to help you out. More often than not, they will. It's hard to find a hole as you shift those 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, and Santander hit it hard, but right to the second baseman.
How about 2 pitches, 2 outs for Anderson here in the third inning? And Iglesias, been around a while. He's going to take one, maybe another one, just to give his pitcher a little bit more time. Swing and a miss at a curveball, 1-2.
Anderson's had that good curveball early on in this game. He used it to strike out the first batter, Hemser Alberto. He struck out Nunez in the first inning with that good hook. And now he's in the driver's seat, 1-2.
And a roller to short, up with it, Espinal, and how about that? 3 outs, 5 pitches for Chase Anderson. Ball fix, and you can get weekdays Baseball Central with Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. Listen on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, or through the Sportsnet app.
There's a couple of good Blue Jay fans. My granddaughters, Laura and Zoe. Laura's on the left in the green shirt, and today is their father's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Casey.
Casey's birthday today. He's 27.
Again. Santiago Espinal gets into one, hits it to deep left, and Mountcastle goes back and makes a leaping catch.
Pretty nice effort out there in left field. Then Mountcastle, who is basically an infielder trying to get comfortable in the outfield, takes extra bases away from Espinal. We had seen Santiago turn on a few of these pitches lately and starting to drive the ball. This looked like it had a chance to get over the left fielder's head, but Mountcastle makes a nice play to start the bottom of the third.
So now the Blue Jays will get a chance to see Aiken the second time around. He struck out Cavan Biggio looking in the first inning, starts it with a breaking ball in for a strike here in the third. Just 1 hit once through the order for the Jays. That was a double by Gurriel. Jansen worked to walk, but Aiken has retired everybody else.
Biggio's seen 5 pitches, and they've all been strikes. He struck out on an 0-2 fastball his first time up.
Swing and a miss.
6 for 6 to Biggio.
What a little trade deadline day intrigue.
Okay.
I don't know if it was an injury or not. I'm just looking at a box score. Jonathan Villar has been removed from the game for the Miami Marlins.
Wow, and he has been top of mind for a lot of Blue Jay fans, and He would make a nice addition. The switch hitter, as we talked about, a guy that can play shortstop till Bo Bichette comes back. Guy that can hit in the top of the order. He's got a little speed. He can steal some bases. He can play occasionally in the outfield.
Yeah, can definitely play second. You can put him in center. Used to play some third back in the day, and I mean, who knows if he's going to be traded and who knows where he's going to be traded. But
well, last night you had David Fletcher traded because he was pulled out of the
yeah. Well, last night you had Ken Griffey Jr. coming to the Blue Jays.
Well, if you're going to dream big.
But you're right. I got a little carried away. But the VR thing feels like.
Yeah, it's that time.
Yeah.
3 o'clock, just about 3 o'clock. A little bit more than an hour away from the trade deadline.
Mr. Martinez.
Yes, sir.
Ken Rosenthal has just tweeted that the Toronto Blue Jays have acquired Jonathan VR.
That's great news. That's a very key addition in my mind.
Let me tell you something else.
Okay.
Jeff Passan is reporting Starling Marte is close to being traded from Arizona to the Miami Marlins, who would presumably flip him in a deal, wouldn't you think?
Interesting.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on right now. 3 up, 3 down go the Blue Jays. Don't go anywhere. Stuff may be happening. To know that reportedly just acquired Jonathan VR from the Miami Marlins. As Buck said, a switch hitter with speed. He can play multiple positions. He checks off a lot of boxes. And whether they would use him in one spot all the time or maybe as a super utility guy, he's an upgrade. He could come off the bench. He could steal a base for you. He can pinch hit. He can start. And he can play 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, he has made most of his games at shortstop. 399 career games at short, 344 at second. He's only played 15 games in the outfield and 54 games at third base. But I think until Bo Bichette's 100% healthy and ready to come back in the lineup, VR plays shortstop. And then when Bo comes back, VR can slide to third base.
He does have some third base in his background, as we mentioned. It's been a few years.
54 games at third. Basically, 2016, he played and made 40 starts at third base for the Brewers.
He's played a little bit in the outfield, not a ton. You know, what he does, too, is if they ever needed Biggio in the outfield, which they've used on occasion. If Teoscar's DHing or somebody gets a day off, then you slide VR in at second base. He can do some different things. Late call, but it's called strike 3 at the knees. Renato Nunez strikes out.
Boy, that's more of a slider there, and it split the heart of the plate. It was down around the knees, and Nunez strikes out for a second time. You can see that's a slider at 89 miles an hour. And Nunez struck out on a curveball in the first inning. This time he takes strike 3 on the slider.
Here's Pedro Severino. VR also a switch hitter, as we mentioned, so I think he provides about as much versatility as anybody they could have gone out and found.
VR has led off for the Marlins 22 times this season. They've played 29 games, and he's been in the leadoff spot 22 of those times and probably led off this afternoon in their game.
Just last year, as a member of the Orioles, VR stole 40 bases. At 274 with 24 home runs, which was a career high. Good changeup there from Anderson. He's been with Houston and Milwaukee, Baltimore, this year Miami, and now evidently on his way to becoming a Toronto Blue Jay. There are the numbers last year for Jonathan VR. Played in all 162 games, had 33 doubles, walked 61 times. I think this one will go over nicely with Blue Jays fans.
I would think so. And he's been kind of a interesting player for a long time. He's 29 years old. He signed with the Phillies, was traded to Houston, played in Houston for parts of 3 seasons, then went to Milwaukee, played 2.5 seasons with the Brewers. He led the National League with 62 stolen bases in 2016.
2-2 the count on Pedro Severino. So I would guess he's with the Marlins right now.
Just stays there.
Well, they're in New York. But I guess he
Yeah.
just gets on the plane with them, right? Even though he's an ex-Marlin now, and he goes back down to Miami. And the Blue Jays, he's in the Blue Jay lineup tomorrow.
You would think that'd be the best and safest way for him to get down there, to stay on the team charter
Right.
and not take any kind of
Yeah. And maybe I shouldn't jump the
commercial
gun.
airline.
Right. Maybe he won't be in the lineup tomorrow again. There may be protocols that need to be passed, but he should definitely be able to meet up with the Blue Jays and join them tomorrow.
Of course, the Marlins have been a focal point of a lot of the virus talks with all of their positive tests, and he's been involved in that protocol since they have been back to playing, so that's a good sign.
VR is a free agent at the end of the season, same as Robbie Ray. Same as Taijuan Walker, so all three of the larger acquisitions are rentals, which knocks the acquisition cost down. So it sounds like the Blue Jays are trying to improve their team without really giving up anybody that they think is a part of their future.
Yeah, and the Blue Jays really value their prospects. They really want to hold on to as many prospects as possible. But at the same time, when you're in this position to get into the postseason, I think you got to be as aggressive as possible. I mean, there are certain guys that are not even going to talk about in any kind of trade conversations, but you know what they've done, Dan? The front office has built up the depth in their minor league system, so they have extra pieces that they can trade.
Right. Like the Padres have done.
Absolutely.
The Padres have traded 8 of their top 30 prospects in the last few days, but only one of them was from within their top 10. And they've acquired 5 players that they're going to use going into the playoffs. Yeah.
Big league players.
They acquired Mike Clevenger, Austin Nola, Jason Castro, Trevor Rosenthal, Mitch Moreland. Ground ball to third, and Severino retired, 2 down.
Aaron Nola, right-handed hitting catcher that can complement Jason Castro, and Nola was hitting 300 for the Mariners.
Austin Nola, Aaron's brother. Austin Nola, right.
Exactly.
Now getting Aaron Nola.
That would have been a big move. But the way they're going, I wouldn't put it past them. What a trade deadline they have had.
Yep. They're going for it, all out. 2 down and the base is empty. Here's Chance Sisco, who doubled his first time up. And it's just under an hour until the trade deadline. So the Blue Jays with 4 new players in the last week. Vogelback, Walker, Ray, and VR.
You know what? We heard general managers talk about this trade deadline this season in this unique 2020 season, and everybody said, hey, it's going to be kind of a normal trade deadline. And boy, it's been active.
Yep. I don't believe it's been reported what the Blue Jays gave up to acquire VR. If Shy, Ben, and Arden are watching, and they know, let me know. Could use a little help tracking both the game and the trade deadline. Change up, foul it off, 2-2.
Chase Anderson, this is his best outing to this point for the Blue Jays. This is his 5th start. And by far, he has had everything working for him.
And Buck, it sounds like Marte is indeed going to Miami. Caleb Smith and Humberto Mejia, and a player to be named later, going the other way. So now you got to believe the Marlins are flipping Marte somewhere. Maybe not. I mean, maybe they're in it, thinking they've got a shot at a playoff spot, and they could really use the outfield bat. Biggio with a sliding catch, and we go to the bottom of the 4th.
That OPS of over 1. Very similar numbers in those 2 areas. In 18, he was maybe the best minor league hitter in the game.
He'll be followed by Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel here in the 4th inning. The Blue Jays down 1-0.
I think Vladdy can get on this fastball. I don't think that Aiken has the kind of velocity that he can beat Guerrero with the fastball. Boy, a good cut at that one, and Vladdy's upset he missed it. This conversation probably about how far they're going to go with Chase Anderson, who's been great. He's allowed just 1 run on 3 hits. A first inning single to Jose Iglesias, the only run of the ball game.
Good take there, and it's 2-2 on Guerrero. Have a little chat with Severino while he's in the box. Tried to come inside, but it missed several inches in off the plate. It's 3-2 now on Vladdy. Hernandez on deck. And he got him with a changeup, 1 down.
5 strikeouts now for Aiken. And a changeup is a good pitch. Nice 3-pitch mix for the young left-hander. And he throws this 3-2 changeup right down the middle, and Vladdy was way out in front. Blue Jays getting their first look at this young left-hander.
And now Teoscar squibs one up the first baseline, a fair ball. He's making the turn and heading to second, and he's in there with a double and a 12-game hitting streak.
When you're hot, you're hot. You hit him 450 feet, and sometimes you hit him 90 feet. And he hit that one right off the end of the bat. It was another changeup. And you can see the defense. Nunez is well off the line, and he can't make a play on it. Tipped it a little bit, but Teoscar with his speed easily motors into second. Nunez got a piece of it, slowed it down a little bit. But Teoscar, as Dan mentioned, extends his hit streak to 12 straight.
Well, they've done a good job taking advantage of some good fortune or breaks in recent days. Let's see if they can keep that going here as Lourdes Gurriel Jr. steps in. Gurriel with a double into the left field corner his first time up.
See, now Severino has gone to the changeup a little bit more the second time through this batting order. There was another one, back-to-back changeups to Gurriel.
Not much of a stop in the set position for Aiken on that last pitch.
Well, Teoscar's got some speed at the second. He has 5 stolen bases, caught just 1 time. But if you're going to steal a third, boy, you better make sure you can get there. Tough to steal with 2 strikes.
Strike 3 called. Outside corner with the knees, 2 down.
Well, he located that fastball perfectly. He strikes out Guerrero on a 3-2 changeup, and then that 93-mile-an-hour fastball right at the knees, down and away.
So it's up to Daniel Vogelback getting his second at bat. He's DHing today, was called out on strikes, caught looking his first time up. Aiken's making some good pitches with his fastball right on the edges. Oh, and 2. And a little up and in right there, ball 1. Play on at second, and they got him. Teoscar Hernandez is picked off second to end the fourth inning. Orioles 1, Blue Jays nothing. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Here are Jamie Campbell and Jeff Blair in the donation to Jays Care. And you can have a birthday, retirement, graduation, anniversary, etc. message shown on the scoreboard on TV. Visit bluejays.com/JaysCare. I'm sure Daddy's girls are having a nice birthday day with them.
Yeah, they are. They're having a good birthday day with them. That was pretty cool. Blue Jays, I tell you what, they've gone the extra mile, haven't they, for their fans?
Yep.
Trying to make everybody feel like it's a home ballpark for the Blue Jays. And a great job.
Players on board doing the best they can as well. 1-0. They trail today against the Orioles as we go to the top of the fifth inning. The run for the Orioles coming back in the first. Chase Anderson's got 7 strikeouts through 4 innings. Has given up just a run on 3 hits, and he'll face the bottom of the order here in the fifth. Mountcastle, Ruiz, and Mullins. Bounced into curveball for ball 1. Mountcastle struck out his first time up today. Another curve, ball 2.
Anderson's had the best fastball we have seen this season. Also, his curveball has been consistent. You mentioned 7 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts. That's his career high.
A swing and a ground ball to short. Espinal gathers it up, 1 down.
Again, bottom part of the order. I know Mountcastle has some power, but at the same time, you got to retire the bottom part of the order. You can see the bullpen starting to go to work as the pitch count is in the mid-70s now.
A little surprised to see that. He threw 83 his last time out. He's retired 10 in a row.
Well, that's that old 3 times through the lineup trick. Getting close to the top of the order. Yep. Most teams don't like their starter to face the lineup 3 times through the order. I think you got to let your eyes tell you what's going on. He's only allowed 3 hits. 2 of those came in the first inning.
Ruiz struck out his first time up and takes a changeup in for his strike. It's 1-1.
Ten in a row retired by Anderson since the leadoff double to Chance Cisco.
And looks like 11. A pop up for Biggio. 2 down. And now Cedric Mullins, the number 9 hitter, will face Anderson. However long it lasts, an encouraging performance from him as he gets a little bit more comfortable. He said after his last start, remember he was on the IL at the beginning of the season, had an oblique situation, and said after his last start he kind of felt that he was at the end of spring training, ready for the beginning of the regular season. That's where he feels he's at right now. Mullins pops that bunt way out of play.
Yeah, but you can see that Anderson's very confident in all of his pitches. There's no hesitation at all in the way he is looking for the sign, working quickly, using all of his pitches very effectively. His fastball has been good. Pete Walker has to be pleased with what he has gotten from Chase Anderson to this point.
I'm sure Pete Walker has already done a lot of research on Robbie Ray. He had the inside info. They may acquire him before the trade was established, obviously, and Pete's a worker bee, so I'm sure he's done a lot of looking at the numbers and the charts and the mechanics, and he'll get a chance to talk to him maybe as early as tomorrow. And
yeah, and I think the thing is, when you're talking about specific players in trade talks, a front office will come down and talk to anybody that might be involved, such as a pitching coach. Hey, we got a chance to get this guy. What do you think? And you mentioned this earlier. Caleb Joseph was with the Diamondbacks when both Taijuan Walker and Robbie Ray were pitching there. So Caleb Joseph is a guy that they would probably go to after the trade and say, hey, what do you see differently now with him than a couple of years ago?
Missed up and away with a fastball. 2-2 now to Mullins. And he popped him up. Jansen looking for it, finding it, but won't have a play. And if Ray can be a nice addition to the rotation, then they leave the deep bullpen intact the way that it is. They leave guys kind of in the roles that they've been in.
And then, too, Charlie Montoya has the ability to separate those good arms. So you have one core that's ready one night and the next core that's ready the next night, so you don't have to pitch them back-to-back nights, especially without Romano and Giles for the time being.
Full count. And he got him. Fastball by him. 12 in a row set down by Chase Anderson.
Angle pull going through right now. That's just not who he is. He can use the opposite field. Now, Bichette said when Vogelbach came out of high school, he was the best hitter in the draft in his age group. He describes him as more of a big Tony Gwynn type guy who hit line drives everywhere. If we can get him to being that line drive guy again, the power, Dan, he says, will still be there.
Interesting, Hazel. Thank you. So not only maybe are they going to players like a Caleb Joseph and saying, hey, what do you think about this guy? They're going to coaches, as Hazel said, to find out what they think about a certain guy. And who would know Vogelbach better than one coach who was his hitting coach when he was in the minors, and another one with whom he grew up with the family, because he's friends with Dante Bichette and was teammates for a number of years in summer ball with Dante Bichette Jr.
Yeah, it's a great source of information, and you know, you can remember what a guy does when he becomes a professional prospect, as Vogelbach did, and Guillermo Martinez had him in the minor leagues with the Cubs.
And he pulls a ground ball out into shallow right field. The second baseman Alberto is there, one down.
Now batting the catcher, number 9, Danny Davidson.
Just be interesting how often he gets a chance to play. And again, there's still half an hour until the trade deadline, but let's assume that everybody who's on the 28-man roster now is on the 28-man roster after the deadline. His chances look mostly like they will be pinch hitting opportunities, because I think Rowdy Tellez would get most of the at-bats in this kind of a situation.
Yeah, you would think. It's just a situation where Rowdy has had some big games and just hasn't quite been as consistent as he would like. And it's hard to be consistent when you don't get consistent at bats. You know, we talk about the Blue Jays and all their late game dramatics. They can score a run anytime they want to now, Dan. They don't have to have walk-off wins all the time.
You know, they like to make it interesting and up the excitement factor and get people biting their nails. And
yeah, I think Chase Anderson said, hey, boys, anytime you want to score a couple of runs here, that'd be much appreciated.
Sounds like the Phillies have just acquired former Blue Jay reliever David Phelps from Milwaukee to bolster their bullpen further. Jansen walked his first time up. Egan Aiken in his third major league appearance, his first major league start, filling in for the departed Tommy Malone, has looked really good. He's got 6 strikeouts, has only walked 1. And has only given up 2 hits, and only one of those 2 was well hit.
I can't imagine he's going to pitch much deeper into this game, as his highest pitch total was 48 in his first outing this year. Now he's up to 75, and I can't imagine they're going to push him much further than this inning. I'm sure they'd like for him to get out of the inning so he could have an opportunity to pick up a win in his first big league start.
And Travis Lakins has started throwing in the bullpen. Another good job by Jansen. This is similar to his first plate appearance today.
Danny's got 14 walks this season, so you know, it doesn't sound like it's a real important number, but he's been pretty good and patient, not searching hits. He's not chasing hits. Things tough against that curveball.
Saw Joe Panik in the on-deck circle for the Blue Jays, down 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th. And inside, second walk of the day for Jansen.
Danny had 31 walks last year in 107 games. And now he's got 15, half that total. Chase Anderson with his best start to date for the Blue Jays. He was really good. Looks like his day has come to an end.
Joe Panik hit a fly ball to center field his first time up. Aiken asking for Severino to start the signs over again. And he missed outside with a fastball to fall behind 1-0.
We talk about all the heroics last night. How about the leadoff walk by Joe Panik in the 9th inning to start that rally?
And now he's got himself a base hit into right. Jansen will make the turn and head to third. Panik's on his way to second. And in there with a double.
You know what? When you have veterans like Joe Panik, that's been an everyday player, he's played in a World Series, he's been on those championship teams in San Francisco. He might not come through every single day, but he's come through in big moments for the Blue Jays. Then here, Jansen goes first to third on the double by Panik. And the Blue Jays have something going right here.
That's Vladdy playing third base coach, telling Jansen, go home. Let's go.
He's having fun again, isn't he? He's on Louis Rivera right now.
And a pitching change in Buffalo. Aiken out of the game. Martinez, the hitting coach for the Blue Jays, about what he's going to see with Travis Lakins, who has just come into the game, inheriting a second and third one-out situation.
He's a 4-pitch pitcher. He's got a fastball that'll average about 93 miles an hour. He'll throw a curve, slider, and a changeup. Actually, he doesn't throw a changeup. He throws a cutter instead of that changeup. His cutters will be about 90.
Big opportunity here for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th.
There's that cutter right there. He missed with it first pitch.
Jansen's at third, Panik's at second, and the infield in for the Orioles. For the most part, not all the way in, but creeping in a little bit. Ooh, and a cutter gets a call on the outside corner, 1-1. It's been a pretty wide strike zone today. Jeremy Riggs behind the plate this afternoon.
Look at those last 11 games for Espinal. 9 for 26 with a pair of doubles. Needs to get a ball to the outfield in this situation.
You know, remains to be seen whose spot VR takes, but Espinal, and everybody knows you and I like him, we talk about him a lot, but he could be at least in the short term, a casualty here because he's got options as VR comes to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, you would think that, you know, obviously we don't know what their thoughts are, but given his status You know what? That wasn't a bad swing. It was a backup cutter, and he got jammed. But what tells me is that he's trying to hit the ball to center and right, which is exactly what you want to do in this situation. He wasn't worried about pulling the ball. He wasn't worried about getting jammed on the fastball. He's just trying to get something that he can hit to the outfield and drive in at least one of these two base runners.
They've backed up a little bit on the left side of the infield. Did he check it? And he did. So it is 3 balls, 2 strikes on Espinal. I hope he gets a shot to stick around. He's done some really good things. We just showed you he's hit 346 over his last 11 games, and he definitely checked the swing there. I think they've got other possibilities of the move they could make, but we'll see how it shakes itself out once VR gets to the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he's been a valuable part of this team.
And he strikes out, 2 down. Let's go to Hazel May.
Dan, Bob Nightingale reporting that former Blue Jay and Red Sox outfielder Kevin Pillar is now off to the Colorado Rockies. So Pillar is now a member of the Colorado Rockies.
All right. Thank you, Hazel. So still a lot going on. 21 minutes until the deadline. You had a feeling Pillar would be traded. Signed a 1-year deal with the Red Sox, and they're in last place right now.
Well, and he spent last year with San Francisco, so the Rockies have a good idea what they're getting in Kevin Pillar.
2 down, 2 in scoring position for Cavan Biggio, who's 0 for 2. Ben Nicholson-Smith is reporting via a reporter who I think is in Florida that Griffin Conine is the return in the Jonathan VR deal. Conine, a 2nd-round pick a couple of years back out of Duke University, and also the son of the guy affectionately known in South Florida as Mr. Marlin, Jeff Conine. And Biggio with a ground ball. Long throw is high. And 2 runs are going to score on the play. Should have been the end of the inning, and instead the Blue Jays catch another break and take a 2-1 lead.
Wow. The Orioles have had a rough series in the field, and this is a routine ground ball. Hanser Alberto has committed just 1 error this season, but you can see he airmails Nunez. Biggio's aboard, and 2 runs come in, and just like that, the Blue Jays have the lead. I mean, there's nothing more routine about this play, and it was unbelievable. He threw it away. 2nd error of the season, and a costly one.
E4 all the way, a couple of runs score. Suddenly 2-1 Blue Jays, and here's Grichuk. And I don't know if he, misread Biggio's speed. He kind of threw flat-footed, or if he just thought he had more time. Grichuk takes the breaking ball.
Yeah, there was no reason for that. I mean, he's a pretty steady infielder, and he's played second base a lot. This is his 30th start. So now Chase Anderson, who we assume is out of the game, is the pitcher of record, and he's in line for a win here. If the Blue Jays can hold on to this lead. Those 2 runs are charged to Keegan Aiken, albeit unearned runs. Yeah, Chase Anderson's done. He's debriefing with the pitching coach, talking about a good outing. It was really good.
Set down his last 12 in a row. Biggio holding his ground at first. It's 3-1 on Grichuk. And he'll take a walk. They'll appeal, but he didn't go, so it's ball 4 to Grichuk.
Now batting the first baseman, number 27.
Jays have done a nice job of extending innings, getting hits and then taking walks and getting into the heart of their order. It's the second walk in this inning. Danny Jansen drew a walk. He came around to score. Now Grichuk walks, and Vladdy will have a chance with a couple aboard here with 2 outs.
And Jansen, as soon as he gets back in the dugout, he turns from a base runner back into a catcher and back into school with Pete Walker. Good cutter away from Guerrero there, and it's 0-1. I got to believe that day by day, this group of 28 players and all the coaches and staff are probably getting to the ballpark a little bit earlier with a little bit more excitement. You know, as the wins continue to come in and the standings continue to look good. A lot of work left, not implying by any stretch of the imagination there isn't. 28 games, including today, in a playoff spot as now, and I would assume somehow, some way, with technology being what it is, most of the guys in uniform know they've picked up Robbie Ray and Jonathan VR today. Maybe they don't. Who knows?
You know, I would suggest they might not know.
Yeah. Oh boy. I mean, not close. Not close. End of the inning. An Oriole error, and the Blue Jays have the lead.
And the Blue Jays obviously just said, I don't want to have Chase Anderson face the top of this lineup a third time, so they will go to the pen. First one up, the right-hander Wilmer Font, making his 15th appearance of the season.
Pitched a scoreless inning on Saturday against the Orioles, and he'll get the top of the order. Alberto, Santander, and Iglesias. With the Jays, now thanks to the error on Alberto, now leading 2-1 as this game moves into the 6th inning. Looks like the Blue Jays should have a decent number of available high leverage guys here today. A.J. Cole didn't pitch yesterday. Ryan Borucki didn't pitch yesterday. And there's a soft liner into center field for a leadoff base hit.
Alberto's third in the American League in hitting, and he went out of the zone right there to hit that ball. That ball was off the plate away, and he extends through the zone so well. And you know what? He's not a textbook hitter. You wouldn't teach that swing, but boy, it works for him.
And it looks like Ryan Borucki is going to get loose. That didn't take long. 2 pitches, 1 hit.
Well, and this is what I have a problem with, is when you have a pitcher that's retired 12 in a row and he's overmatched the lineup you're facing, you know what he's doing against the lineup. Just leave him out there until you have a reason to make a change. I mean, there was no reason to make a change with Chase Anderson. He had thrown 83 pitches in his previous outing. He threw 84 today. He wasn't laboring. Everything was working well for him. And I know it's just, well, you know, third time through the order, and you know what, sometimes you rely too much on stats and analytics. Let your eyes tell you the story. But Anderson was really good today.
Yep. And again, as Buck mentioned, retired the last 12 in a row. Didn't have any trouble with them towards the end of his outing. The 0-2 sent to left center field, and it's past a diving Gurriel. Alberto is rounding third, heading home, and the game is tied.
So Santander, with his second double of the ball game, drives home Alberto all the way from first base. And for Santander, he came into this game 5th in the majors in RBIs, and when he's got a chance to drive in a run, he's going to do some damage. His second extra base hit of the ball game, that pitch up and away. And we talk about this all the time with good RBI guys, that when they have a chance to drive in a run, they will look for the ball away. And Alberto motors around the bases, and it's 2-2.
And now Font almost falls down on the delivery as he misses low. Ball one to Jose Iglesias. Well, looked up Chase Anderson's numbers third time through the order. There's virtually nothing from this year. Barely did it. 4 at bats. Last year his numbers were better third time through the order than they were first or second.
So it makes you wonder what they're basing their decision on. So Ryan Borucki was real good his last time out after a couple of not so good outings, but he went back to just trusting his stuff and filling up the strike zone.
Fastball there, 2-1. You know, Charlie Montoyo has talked at times about if a guy has, 94 pitches, I'm not going to send him out there again for another inning because he's only got, say, 6 pitches left. They've got a number in their head before the game starts, and obviously the front office and the analytics department, I think, have a say in this as well about what the pitch limit is for a specific pitcher. But Anderson, what was it today? 84, I think. So and he threw 83 last time, so it wasn't even like it was a step up. But I agree with you. I would assume the reason is third time through the order.
Yeah. And so many teams do it, and it's all based on numbers. But like you said, the numbers for Anderson weren't bad last year.
Out of play.
So Blue Jays are just going to have to start over again. 6th inning, 2-2 ball game. Iglesias has driven in a run here. He also grounded out in the 3rd inning.
And the 2-2. Swing and a miss at a ball up, 1 down.
Well, Iglesias chased a high fastball from Font, and that's a big out in that he didn't move the runner from 2nd to 3rd. And that ball is up well about shoulder high. And he's just late on it.
Well, Buck, we're down to the last 7 minutes before the trade deadline, and sometimes it takes a few minutes after 4 o'clock before they're publicized and we find out about them. But I wonder if teams are done.
Oh, I don't think so. We always have a deal that was consummated right up to the last second. Remember the Justin Verlander trade when he went to Houston? I mean, literally, it sounded like that was agreed to about 30 seconds before the deadline.
That's right.
A last minute deal. Yeah, we'll get to the deadline and somebody will announce one after 4 o'clock.
Oh, 2.
You just have to have those trades go through the Major League office before 4 o'clock. Imagine before the internet generation how they would make phone calls and teletypes and telegrams and all that stuff. You have to make sure you did it in plenty of time.
Yep.
This is the best fastball Font has had in a while.
A single and a double to the first 2 batters that he faces here in the 6th inning as the Orioles rally to tie it. And this is a well hit ball. Grichuk will run it down, though. A nice catch in deep left center for a big 2nd out.
Well, there's the importance of that strikeout of Iglesias, because Santander at 2nd had to hold his ground, and had he moved over to 3rd, he would have scored on that lineout. Randall's doing a nice job in center field. He got a nice jump on that ball and ran it down. So Pete Walker hustled out of the dugout to talk about the next batter, Pedro Severino.
I don't know if they want to do this. I don't know if they would, but they could just put him on and bring in Barucki to face Cisco on deck if they wanted to.
Well, if you're going to do that, you just go ahead and walk him.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell a guy, hey, pitch around this guy. Especially with a guy that's a power pitcher like Font and doesn't have great command. You either go after him or you walk him. So they must have said, okay, let's go after him, because if you tell Font pitch around him, he's liable to bounce that breaking ball in the dirt and move the runners up.
But do pitching coaches ever go out there and say, how do you feel against this guy? Do you think you can get him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They will do that from time to time. How you feeling? Well, I got my good stuff. My fastball is up. I've thrown 97 already. I feel good. I got him. And what you don't want is a little hesitation. If you say, how you feeling? Well, you know, I'm okay. Walk him.
Right.
Walk him and we'll get riot in here.
Remember, we saw the Orioles pitch around Grichuk in the 9th inning last night. Sulser didn't want to have anything to do with him. Thought maybe if I can get him to chase, that's fine. Never came close. Got it to 3-0 and then put him on. I think at this point you take your chances with Barucki and Cisco, but we'll see how they play it. And it's hit to deep left field. Gurriel back and makes the catch a couple of feet in front of the fence. So they get one, but nothing more, and it's tied at 2.
He should be very proud of the start he's put together here. He's done a nice job, and he just has the ability now to lay off borderline pitches, much like Betts and Trout. That's what they do.
Bottom 6 and tied at 2. Hernandez, Gurriel, and Vogelbach due up for the Blue Jays against Travis Lakins. And if you're just joining us, the Blue Jays have made a couple of trades today. Picked up a left-handed starting pitcher Robbie Ray from Arizona. Travis Bergen going to the Diamondbacks. Picked up Jonathan Villar from Miami, with reportedly Griffin Conine going to the Marlins as the clock has struck 4. So it is trade deadline time. And again, deals can still trickle in a little while after the deadline as they get processed and publicized. But as of now, those are the 2 moves the Blue Jays have made. Lifted in the air to right field. Santander still going back and makes the grab.
Now batting the left fielder, number 3.
Yeah, I would think, you know, maybe the Blue Jays front office had bigger ideas and bigger plans at the trade deadline, and we're not really sure if they're finished. There might be a late announcement, but to pick up VR, I think gives Charlie Montoya some versatility, especially at shortstop now with Bo Bichette out. And then Robbie Ray has had a history of success. We mentioned a 15-5 season a couple of years ago for the Diamondbacks. Ray evidently lost some weight in the offseason, changed his mechanics a little bit. He was a guy that used to have a windup, and he's gotten away from that windup. So maybe in talking with Pete Walker, they can ask him about what was so good for you when you had that great season.
Gurriel hooks the ball down the left field line, and that is fair. And he's got himself his second double of the ball game.
Lourdes hit a fastball down the left field line back in the 2nd inning. And this is a breaking ball. He stays back. Boy, that's a great piece of hitting right there, to stay back on a breaking ball and line it down the left field line up against the fence. His 8th double of the season, and he's in scoring position now.
So the Blue Jays trying to take the lead back again here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and the batter is Daniel Vogelbach, 0 for 2. On a strikeout and a ground ball. They put the shift on him again with the second baseman Alberto out in shallow right. His first start as a Blue Jay. A report online from Ken Rosenthal. Cincinnati has just acquired Brian Goodwin, an outfielder from the Angels, who was thought by some to be maybe a potential Blue Jay target. And again, more will probably come in, but I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard any Yankee news today.
Yeah, isn't that interesting, given their position? You thought they were going to add a pitcher? You know, they were thought to be in the Mike Clevenger discussions with the Indians. But the Yankees had a rookie pitcher come up and make a start yesterday in Game 2 of their doubleheader. Davey Garcia, and he pitched pretty well. They also have Mike King, who started Game 1, but I thought they were going to add a veteran pitcher.
Yeah, I thought Minnesota would get somebody, and again, maybe they still will. We're just going to have to wait a few minutes. As of this moment, Lance Lynn is apparently still a Texas Ranger, which is kind of surprising. In the dirt, Gurriel holds his ground, but I'm sure some moves will come across in the next little while.
Severino made a nice play on that ball in the dirt. He moves around pretty well. I like this guy. I haven't really seen him an awful lot in the past, but I like the way he calls the game. I like the way he blocks the ball. He's very athletic. He's swinging the bat okay as well.
Gurriel at second, one down. Runner is going. And the throw down to third, and he got in there safely. He sure did. It looked like he got that left hand in there, and the tag was more on his chest or right shoulder. But he went in there, Buck, looking like he knew what he wanted to do.
When he gets a running start, Severino's got a strong arm. Ruiz swiped at him and missed him. And watch how he swipes the glove. He swipes, he's not there yet, and Lourdes is safe. There's no doubt about it. Ruiz tries to swipe his hand, and Gurriel touches the base with his left hand. And what a job by the umpire, Sean Barber. You know, we criticize the umpires a lot, but that was a terrific piece of umpiring because he was positioned perfectly. And he had a great look at it, and oftentimes, just because the ball beats the runner, umpires will call him out. He did not. And Gurriel, we've seen him make some very creative slides over the last couple of years, and that was one of them.
I mean, that one looked like he thought it out beforehand, if that's possible, and used the right arm totally as a decoy. He got in there rather easily.
You know what's funny, too? Infielders always try to tag the runner. Just keep your glove in front of the base. They've got to come to you. But Ruiz swipes at him, misses him, and that's clear. He's safe.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's taken this long.
I think they probably just wanted to see the possible angle on the outside, but he is safe. So a stolen base for Gurriel. That's a big stolen base with one out.
And now it's a big opportunity for Daniel Vogelbach. So he's a guy with a lot of swing and a miss in his game. Can he get the run home here? At the very least, can he hit a fly ball? 2 balls and 2 strikes. The infield is in with the go-ahead run at third and 1 out.
Yeah, here's where you can't be patient. And we've talked about Vogelbach's profile. He's a very patient hitter. You have to open it up now. If it's off the plate 2-3 inches away, you've got to put it in play. And you got to protect the strike zone right now, but you can't take close pitches. You got a chance to give your team the lead here in the 6th.
And a ground ball. Gurriel is coming home, and they'll put the tag on him to get him at the plate.
Now batting catcher number 9, Danny Jansen.
So watch Gurriel at third. He's home, and a little bit of a hesitation, but they had the contact play on, and Severino receives the ball in great position, man. He takes it right to the base runner as Alberto this time makes a strong throw, and Gurriel is out easily at home.
So a missed opportunity there for the Blue Jays. Fielder's choice, runner at first, 2 down. Jansen with a ground ball to third, and that'll be the inning. End of 6 in Buffalo, and the Orioles and Blue Jays are tied at 2.
Likes referring to it when he wants to finish a guy for a strikeout, or in his words, if I'm stuck. Now, he uses a combination of scouting reports and reading swings. Coach John Schneider calls the wristbands a safety net. Jansen and Reese McGuire know the reports heading into each series, and they have all this video at their disposal. So, in a perfect world, they come to us with questions or differing opinions based on doing their own homework. Schneider points out the guys can deviate from the game plan if they 100% see a hitter doing something like pulling off of a pitch or moving up in the box. But he cautions they better have a good reason for changing course. Dan.
All right, Hazel, thank you. That's what you've talked about a lot this year. The information is great, but do they have the freedom to read swings and call an audible at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, and for young catchers, you're reluctant to make some changes because you've been given that scouting report. You put a game plan together, you sit around, and as a young catcher, it's hard to deviate from what was talked about before the game. This is Ryan Baraki, who will take over in this tie game. Baraki off to a good start to his season, and last time out he got back to being Ryan Baraki. Just like that. Your stuff plays up. You don't have to make perfect pitches. You have to be aggressive and put the pressure on the hitter.
Chance Sisco, the DH, will lead it off. He is 1 for 2 with a double. Ryan Mountcastle and Rio Ruiz due up behind him in a tie game. And a little bit high. It's 1-1.
Ryan pitched on Saturday, pitched in the 7th inning, and gave up a single to Alberto and nothing more. Faced 8, 9, 1, and 2 in the lineup then. Well, you can see his body language, Danny. You can see there's a lot of life in his body now. He's not thinking about anything other than executing the pitch. I think he got a little bit too wrapped up in the scouting report, trying to pitch to hitters' weaknesses and not staying with his strength.
Ross Atkins talked about it about 10 days ago. Baraki may in a sense be a victim of his own success out of the bullpen, and that he's doing so well here, and with the injury history that he's had, I don't know if he gets thought of as a starter going forward. You know, when you see the stuff play up like it clearly does out of the bullpen, and to Ryan's credit, he has totally embraced the situation. This is what they need from me. This is what I'm going to do. I love the guys down in the bullpen. I love the adrenaline rush. And just about every reliever was at one point a starting pitcher and would probably love to be a starting pitcher. But I think he realizes, and the Blue Jays seem to be looking at it this way too, that this may be his future.
Yeah, and you know what? There have been a lot of pitchers that have been able to pitch 15, 16, 18 years, left-handed relievers. Jesse Orosco, Dan Plesac, all those guys have pitched a long time in the big leagues, were left-handed pitchers that were specialists at that time. But Plesac, of course, he didn't need to be a specialist. It didn't make any difference who he was facing. And I think Ryan Baraki has that same kind of stuff.
Here's Mountcastle. That good changeup helps him against righties. We see mostly fastball slider against lefties, mostly fastball changeup against righties. Thomas Hatch is up in the bullpen. By 2020 Blue Jays standards, the bullpen is relatively well rested right now. They're not getting deep outings, but the last 3 games, 5, 5, and 6, and you go back to Ryu, so 5, 5, 6, 6. The last 4 games. I bet you there's no 4-game stretch of the season where they got 22 innings out of their starters before these last 4 games.
Yeah, and that just helps so much because everybody down in that pen is on ample rest. And you're not pushing anybody. And there's a few guys down there that have had some injury history.
Change up, and it's pop foul out of play. 4-13 now. Aaron Boone is quoted as saying, quote, nothing came to fruition. The Yankees didn't make a move. Lance Lynn didn't get traded from Texas, which I think is a stunner.
Yeah, I thought he would get traded. There were so many teams that needed some help in their rotation. But I think overall it was a pretty active trade deadline. Well, Baracchi is pounding Mountcastle with that fastball after he fouled off the changeup.
Well, and I don't know this to be true. Obviously, the Padres were the most active team. Were the Blue Jays the second most active team in terms of acquiring guys in the last few days?
That could be the case. They pick up 2 starting pitchers and an everyday player.
Yeah. And a base hit through the right side for Mountcastle.
Now batting third baseman, number 14.
Mountcastle just stays on this fastball, and you can see they were playing him to pull. And he had a curveball from Ryu on Friday night for a base hit to right field. He can handle a bat. Got some power, got some plate coverage. Interesting young man.
Now Rio Ruiz, as Baracchi gets to face another left-handed batter. Ruiz is 0 for 2 today. And there's a base hit into right field. Ruiz putting a good swing on the ball and hitting a sharp line drive, and it's 2 on now for the Orioles.
Now batting center fielder, number 31, Cedric Mullins.
And as we get one more look at the base hit, the next batter is Cedric Mullins, the number 9 hitter. But I think, Buck, that he has been called back.
They have Pat Valaika on the bench. He could come up as a pinch hitter. Thomas Hatch is close to being ready down in the Blue Jays bullpen.
And it is indeed Valaika out to hit for Mullins. Jansen's heading out to the mound, and it looks like Charlie's on his way out as well, and he is. So those 2 base hits and the pinch hitting move will lead to a pitching change as Baracchi is going to leave and Thomas Hatch will come in. The Celtics again at Eastern Conference semifinals, and you can see it tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Sportsnet and Sportsnet Now. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, a 2-2 tie between the Orioles and Blue Jays. The Orioles are threatening again, and out of the bullpen comes Thomas Hatch.
Thomas Hatch has gotten up to a great start in his rookie season. This will be his 10th appearance of the season. Great numbers across the board, and Hatch has really done a great job. The league is hitting 100 against Hatch's fastball and 120 overall. He has just been dominant, and you can see Charlie Montoya putting in Valaika's name into his lineup card. So they go to the bench, and now they have switched, and they have Mason Williams hitting for Valaika. So the Orioles will use 2 batters here. Valaika is out of the game, and Williams will bat.
And really the only 2 viable pinch hitting options they had off the bench both just got used. First and second with a 1 out. Panic in on the cut of the grass at third, and Williams takes a fastball in for a strike.
Williams hit a triple in the game last night. He started at center field in yesterday's game, and hit that triple off Anthony Kay to right field. Blue Jays need a ball on the ground here.
Another fastball, and it's popped out of play down the left field line, and it'll be 0-2. Baracchi struck out the first batter he faced, then gave up a ground ball base hit, then a line drive base hit. So he looks on from the dugout as Hatch tries to pick him up. Very early in the season, Hatch gave up a home run to Adam Duvall down in Atlanta. Then remember, Mitch Moreland walked him off at Fenway on August the 9th, and he's been virtually untouchable since.
Hatch was upset that he left that changeup up in the zone. Williams was able to foul it off. It was a changeup, and he wanted to throw it down in the zone, and after he threw the pitch, he slapped his glove with his fist to remind himself, man, you got to finish that pitch. You're flirting with danger throwing changeups up in the zone.
Let's see if he goes back to the fastball now. He beat him a couple of times with the fastball in this at bat. .98, but he missed upstairs. I don't know that we've seen 98 from Thomas Hatch. Seen a lot of 96s.
Yeah, he's been 96 most of the time, but that was a good fastball. But at the same time, it was non-competitive. It was never in the strike zone.
Tanner Scott, the left-hander, up in the pen for the Orioles in this tie game. And a swing and a miss to get him. Good fastball up at the top of the zone. 2 down.
Now batting the second baseman, number 57, Andrew.
Well, nice easy delivery here, and that one's 97 right at the top of the zone. There's that four-seam grip, and he elevates the fastball to get the strikeout. And now he'll turn the lineup over, and I tell you what, there's just no way to pitch Alberto. You just got to move it around and trust your stuff. He had a base hit on a pitch off the plate last time up off Wilmer Font.
Well, got another trade to report. It's not a Blue Jay trade, but it could impact the Blue Jays in this game. You don't have to worry about Miguel Castro coming out of the bullpen for the Orioles today. He is now a member of the New York Mets.
Interesting. Boy, the Mets bullpen has been horrible. And they traded for Edwin Diaz of the Mariners, and he has not lived up to his reputation. He's one of the premier closers in all of baseball, and since he's gone to New York, he hasn't done anything but blow saves.
2 on, 2 out. Look out, up and in with a fastball. 2-0. Alberto 1 for 3 on the day. Came into the game hitting .324 on the season. And a high fly ball to left field. Gurriel's got room. And Hatch and the Blue Jays get out of it. To the bottom of the 7th. Still tied at 2. Another close game. Seemingly plays a close game just about every day. The Blue Jays, of the 32 games they have played this season, 14 of them have been decided by 1 run. 21 of them by 1 or 2 runs. And they're in another close game here today with the Orioles as left-hander Tanner Scott checks into the game.
Tanner Scott came into the game in the 8th inning with 2 outs yesterday, and Rowdy Tellez got a big hit off him. Tellez was in the hole 0-2 as you see Mason Williams, the pinch hitter, taking over in center field. Tanner Scott's got good stuff, but he got ahead of Rowdy Tellez yesterday 0-2 and threw him a hanging slider, and Rowdy got an RBI base hit to right.
Joe Panik leads off the 7th. He's at third base today. If you're wondering, there are no right-handed bats on the bench today for the Blue Jays. The bench today is Reese McGuire, Travis Shaw, Derek Fisher, and Rowdy Tellez. And I would think if there's a spot they would like to use Rowdy, it'll be a little bit later. So Panik will hit for himself here in the 7th and take low. 2 balls and a strike. He did have a double his last time up. Well, you fast forward in your mind a little bit to when VR joins the team, and hopefully when Bo Bichette gets healthy, as Panik sprays one to left field for a base hit, so he's 2 for 3. You think about the possibilities of what the lineup might look like with Bichette and VR in there.
Yeah, and you just add another dimension to your team with speed, and Joe Panik's having a nice afternoon here. A couple knocks today. He's 2 for 3. He scored the second run to give the Blue Jays the lead back in the 5th inning.
Espinal is 0 for 2. And the throw to first was to see if he would be bunting. I believe.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to bunt in this situation with Biggio batting behind him. I don't think you're going to give an out. If anything, you might start to runner and play hit and run. Espinal has shown that he can handle a bat.
Well, he didn't give anything away on either of those two throws. Not bunting, and he takes a strike. 0-1.
Espinal is 0 for 2. He lined out to left field in the third and then struck out against Travis Lakins. Chased a cutter that was on the outer part of the plate. That was in the 5th inning.
Chased a high pitch right there, and it's 0-2. And Scott strikes him out on 3 pitches for the first out. Dylan Tate up in the bullpen now for the depleted Orioles bullpen. As we mentioned, Miguel Castro just got traded.
Good fastball from Scott. He's got a good arm. We have seen him several times this season. Fastball slider.
Cavan Biggio 0 for 3. And a ground ball to the right of the second baseman Alberto. He'll flip it from the glove to Iglesias covering to force the lead runner. Biggio aboard on a fielder's choice.
Now batting the center fielder, number 15, Randall Christian.
You can see how Iglesias had to run from behind second base to get there to take the toss from Alberto for the force out. That's all they could get on that one.
So Biggio at first now, and it looks like that could be all for Scott with the right hand hitting Grichuk coming up. The right hand throwing Tate's coming in the 7th inning.
Blue Jays have seen him a couple of times now. He has pitched in this series, as Tate pitched on Friday night and came in and pitched an inning and a third. He entered the game in relief of the starter John Means. He retired the side in order in the 5th. A run came in the 6th on a wild pitch as Guerrero doubled off Tate. Randall Grichuk struck out against Tate on a sinking fastball, just like that first pitch he saw.
Biggio is the runner at first, 2 down, 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th. And a ground ball down to third, backhanded by Ruiz. They'll go to second to force Biggio and end the inning. 7 in the books, tied at 2.
Now, Major League average is 93.1. The spin rate much better than average. The StatCast AI is powered by Google Cloud, and Thomas Hatch retired the first man he saw with a good fastball. He struck him out.
Hatch will face 2, 3, 4 in the Orioles lineup here in the 8th inning. Anthony Santander, Jose Iglesias, who is still an Oriole, deadline passed, and Renato Nunez. Santander 2 for 3. So when it's all said and done, Buck, one thing we know for sure is the Blue Jays didn't trade anybody off their major league roster.
Yeah, and I think that was important. I don't think they had any intentions of moving anybody off this team.
Gurriel makes the catch. A big out as Santander is retired.
Pete Walker, Charlie Montoyo talking about their next move out of their bullpen, who they're going to go to. As Dan mentioned, the bullpen is relatively well rested, so they've got some options down there.
I tell you, they'll be happy to get to that off day on September the 10th. Got another one on the 14th, but they've got a couple of double headers coming as well, including one Friday in Boston. Now again, the double headers, of course, are 7 innings in each game, so that helps a little bit.
But no Mitch Moreland, no Brandon Workman, no Heath Hembree, no Kevin Pillar. So the Red Sox have started to clean house. I thought Jackie Bradley Jr. would get traded.
I'm shocked he didn't. I'm with you 100%. His contract's up, right, at the end of the year?
Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the year. I thought for sure somebody would make a run at him, and they may have. Maybe the price was too high.
What a good fastball. Right in on his hands. Guerrero into foul territory, makes the catch, and Iglesias is retired.
You know, oftentimes I think young pitchers and young catchers have a tendency to go to the weakness too soon. You know what I mean?
The weakness of the hitter?
Yes. When you go to a weakness too soon, I mean, you don't have to go to his weakness every single pitch. You save it for pivotal moments. And yeah, I know it's a tie game, and I know in the 8th inning, but I still don't want to go to his guy's weakness right away. You know, you can make a good pitch with your fastball. I mean, Thomas Hatch doesn't have to locate his fastball. You can just throw it in the strike zone, and it's going to be effective. But I think a lot of times people go to weaknesses much too early. You can see the left-handed bat's going to go down and get loose. Shaw and Tellez. But, you know, we used to call games, and depending on the situation, I mean, you might not throw to a guy's weakness the entire game if it never is in a pivotal at-bat. You just pitch maybe sometimes even to his strengths and save that pivotal moment to attack his weakness.
Well, the age-old argument is it better off for a pitcher to use his strength or the hitter's weakness if those are two different things? I don't know that there's a proven answer to that. But
no, but I think you always want a pitcher to have a good feeling about the pitch he's going to throw. And if he has his, you know, you don't want him to wind up thinking, I don't know if this is really the right pitch to throw. Total conviction in every pitch.
I'll tell you, the more you see Thomas Hatch, the more you got to like what you're seeing. I don't know if those are the two hardest sliders he's thrown or if it's more of a cutter. He's hit 91 with whatever that is. Now the fastball sent to left center field. Grichuk going to back. He's got it. And a 3 up, 3 down. Top of the 8th. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update. Again, here are Jamie and Jeff and the Samsung.
You move Biggio to the outfield. He's a switch hitter. He's had 62 stolen bases in a year. Last year he had 30 stolen bases, and he brings that dimension of speed, something the Blue Jays don't have an awful lot of. It's an interesting day for the Blue Jays.
It really is, as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leads off the bottom of the 8th. And takes a fastball at the knees. 0-1. 2-2 tie. And could the Blue Jays find another dramatic way to win a ball game, as they have done a couple of times already in this series? Vladdy is 0 for 3 today. He'll be followed by Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel. And we had that shot of Travis Shaw and Rowdy Tellez heading down the steps, going to get loose in case they are asked to pinch hit. And certainly as the Blue Jays get down near the bottom of the lineup, whether it's in the 8th or the 9th, that's a distinct possibility. Tate losing his cap on that pitch.
Vladdy Guerrero, as Dan mentioned, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and he is trying to extend his hit streak. He has a career high 12-game hit streak intact right now.
And he chased down and away, 1 down. The play of the game is brought to you by TD, proud fan and official bank of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Teoscar Hernandez has hit some balls awfully hard this season, but this isn't one of them. It's off the end of the bat, but it's significant because it's a double and it extends his hit streak. For Teoscar, that is now a 12-game hit streak. And we have seen him smoke some balls, but that one was a changeup. He hit right off the end of the bat and cued it down the right field line.
We'd be okay with him smoking a ball right now.
Yeah, we would.
Tie game, bottom 8. You know, he's been hitting the ball up the middle into the opposite field a lot more this season, but it's more recent than that when he's been so much more patient. It's really like the last 2 weeks. And there he is, 2-0, taken all the way. Clearly he wanted to look at a pitch right there from Tate. He's more comfortable getting deeper into the count, taking borderline pitches, and waiting for a mistake.
A little bit of a changeup he was able to foul out. You know, I think there was a time, as you see Dolis loosening up for the Blue Jays, I think there was a time when Teoscar felt like he had to hit every pitch. Now I think he understands he only has to hit one pitch. So he's more patient, he's more selective, he's laying off the pitcher's pitches more often than not. But now with 2 strikes, he's got to protect the plate.
And a bouncer backhanded it short by Iglesias. The throw is a little wide, but staying on the bag is Nunez to make a good play and record the out.
I mentioned Dylan Tate pitched in the game on Friday night, and he gave up a double to Vladdy Guerrero, and oh boy, that's awfully close to being off the bag, isn't it? Throw was wide of the mark, but Hernandez is called out.
Gurriel takes a strike over the outside corner. He's had a good day at the plate. A couple of doubles. Also stole third one time. Oh, and 2, 97, and in there. Kevin Biggio with the guy who managed him for a couple of years down in the minors, John Schneider.
And John Schneider's had several of these players at one point or another in the minor leagues. '98. You know, the Blue Jays, they were out hit by the Orioles in yesterday's game 12-7, but won 6-5, and they have been out hit here this afternoon as well. Changeup, he got underneath it.
2 runs, 7 hits, and an error for the Orioles. 2-5-0 for the Blue Jays, and the error led directly to both Blue Jays runs today. And strike 3 called. So the Blue Jays go in order, and we're at the end of 8, still tied at 2.
Really had baseball. His split has worked very well, and he has really provided the Blue Jays with some quality innings lately. He picked up the win in relief on Friday night when the Blue Jays had that walk-off home run from Randall Grichuk. And it was his first win back in the majors.
Pedro Severino will lead off the 9th inning for the Orioles. They're just trying to salvage the final game of this series. He showed bunt, but had no intention of bunting. Pulls the bat back and he takes a strike. You know, imagine if you're the Orioles, a couple of walk-off defeats here in this series. You've had a few guys traded off your team while you've been here in Buffalo. They're just trying to find something to feel good about. But from a Blue Jay perspective, that's not your concern. Trying to win a game and keep moving on up in the standings.
The Orioles actually took the lead in the 9th inning yesterday. They scored a run to take a 5-4 lead, but then the Blue Jays got that 2-run Randall Grichuk home run to win it. And the Jays scored 2 on that Friday night, and you know what, this team has just been so good because their bullpen has been able to hold the other team in check. Whereas yesterday it was Teoscar Hernandez who drove home a pair with a base hit. Grichuk's home run was on Friday. That made a winner out of Dolis. After
Severino, Cisco and Mountcastle Blue Jays are scheduled to have Vogelback, Jansen, and Panik in the bottom of the ninth, but could see a pinch hitter or two. Did he go? He did not. 2-2.
This give you a good idea, and yeah, he checked it. He didn't chase and didn't offer it that splitter from Dolis.
Sharply hit but foul down the third baseline. Severino almost lost his footing. He wound up about 20 feet over on the first base side of the plate after he stumbled over there.
Took a big wild swing and started stumbling and had to catch himself. Rowdy Tellez looks like he's getting loose once again.
Chase Anderson started for the Blue Jays and had his best outing. Gave up a run on 3 hits in 5 innings. Didn't walk a batter. Struck out 8. Retired the last 12 that he faced and threw 84 pitches. Yet was still lifted in the 6th inning as it got to the 3rd time through the order. Wilmer Font came in and gave up a run in the 6th inning. That tied the game. Ryan Borucki retired a batter. Gave up a couple of hits. Thomas Hatch 5 up 5 down. As Hatch keeps putting zeros up on the board. Cisco on deck for the Orioles. And a chopper towards third. This could be all kinds of trouble, and they won't get him. Severino beats it out for an infield hit.
Well, there's not much you can do about that. They were back 2 outs. I mean, 2 strikes, nobody out. You can't really guard against this. It's just a little chopper on the grass, and Panik does everything he can, but Severino has passed the bag in plenty of time. Oh, it's an infield hit.
So the leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 9th inning in a tie game, and here's the DH Chance Cisco, who is 1 for 3, had a double back in the 2nd. Fastball low for ball 1.
Dolis has been effective against left-handed hitters. They've managed just a .200 batting average. 5 hits and 25 at bats.
He was really unhappy with that pitch right there.
Well, I got away from him, and that's what happened. He flew open, his hand went inside the baseball, and it was well off the plate outside, and it just doesn't have an impact. 2-0 now, and he has gotten himself in a tough count. But we have seen him be able to throw these splitters when he's behind, and that's how he's been able to neutralize the left-handed hitters.
And missed badly again. 3 balls and no strikes. Why do guys look at their bats so much? Standing there for 5 seconds looking at his bat. I know he's just thinking, and it's
just gathering his thoughts, but he needs something to focus on.
Focusing on his bat. 3-1.
An ongoing conversation between the pitching coach and the manager, and Pete Walker's going to call down to the bullpen and get somebody else started.
Shift on against the left-hand hitting Cisco. Another fastball, and it's a full count. And it'll be Jacob Waguespack. Big pitch here, 3-2 with the leadoff man aboard in the top of the 9th inning. And he got him. Dolis battles back to strike him out.
Every local family-owned Home Hardware supports the specific needs of their community because that's what being locally owned, genuinely Canadian is all about.
Dan Shulman, Buck Martinez, Hazel May, the Blue Jays and the Orioles in another close game. 2-2 tie in the 9th inning. And Rafael Dolis trying to keep it that way and give the Blue Jays a chance to walk it off with just one in the bottom half. Ryan Mountcastle's 1 for 3, had a base hit to right field his last time up. It's hit sharply to center field, but Grichuk is right there. 2 down.
Mountcastle has made some good passes. Dolis now, and it's amazing how he's able to come back. He fell behind Chance Sisco 3-0 and came back and struck him out on a 3-2 splitter. But again, we have talked about this in the past, how his working as a closer for 4 years in Japan has allowed him to handle any kind of pressure situation. Not a big deal for him.
So 2 down, and here's Rio Ruiz. Buck, I think the Blue Jays made another trade.
Okay.
They're still coming in. According to Shai Davidi, the Blue Jays have acquired Ross Stripling from the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Really?
Yeah, who has been a starter for them back into the rotation, has given up a lot of home runs this year. He's had some good years for the Dodgers in
Yes,
kind of a hybrid role. Sometimes a starter, sometimes a reliever, but the numbers are up this year.
He's got a good arm.
Yeah. 3-1 with a 5.61 ERA in 7 starts, 38 hits and 33 2/3, 12 homers, the most in the majors, 11 walks and 27 strikeouts. He's been considerably better than that the last few years. He is in the arbitration stage of his career. He's got 3 years and change in the big leagues. He's a guy you can use in a couple of different roles. Boy, they got a lot of arms.
Another 3-0 count this inning. Pete Walker, Charlie Montoya looking at the Orioles lineup. Okay, we're here. We need this guy for this. And Pete Walker's going to send some orders down to the bullpen now. They have a specific pitcher in mind.
And the 3-0. And it's low, ball 4. So runners at first and second with 2 down for Mason Williams.
Now batting is the center fielder, number 33, Mason Williams.
Well, didn't see that one coming. Ross Stripling as Pete Walker heads to the mound. And again, you can look at him as a starter. You can look at him as a multi-inning guy out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it's really interesting because Blue Jays have a lot of depth in that area as far as multi-inning relievers, and now A.J. Cole's starting to loosen up. And Cole, he's a right-hander, but he has been so good at handling left-handers. As you can bet, they're thinking about him for Anthony Santander. Anthony Kay threw 16 pitches yesterday, as you see Andrew Velasquez coming off the bench to run for Severino. Remember, the Orioles have 3 catchers, so they don't have to use Chance Cisco, who is the DH.
Yeah, so they'll bring Holiday in to catch in the bottom of the ninth, and that'll empty out their bench. So first and second, 2 down, tie game. And it'll be Dolis against Williams. And a ground ball out to second. Biggio has it, and the side is retired. To the bottom of the ninth. The Blue Jays will try to walk it off again.
To have done a job late in games, and yesterday was Teoscar Hernandez as he comes through with a couple of RBIs, and the Blue Jays walk off the Orioles for a second time in the 3 games, and now they have another chance here as it's a tie game, bottom of the 9th inning, and Daniel Vogelbach will lead things off for the Blue Jays.
So Tate is still on the mound for the Orioles. Dylan Tate back out for his. He's gone an inning and a third already, and as we mentioned, they have to bring their third catcher in. Brian Holiday is now in to catch for Baltimore. And Daniel Vogelbach will lead it off. He is 0 for 3 today. A couple of ground balls and a strikeout. And that pitch will miss outside, ball 1. Now remember, Vogelbach is known for his eye. As you mentioned, Buck, 92 walks a year ago.
And the Blue Jays do have Derek Fisher on the bench. Should he get on base, they can pinch run for Vogelbach.
They got Danny Jansen at the moment still in the on-deck circle. That could change. 1 and 2. And as we saw yesterday, sometimes it depends if the guy in front of him gets on or not. We know that Charlie Montoyo has utilized the bunt a lot. And if a guy gets on, will he bunt? You can see Panic, and then you can see Rowdy Velez. If Vogelbach makes an out, got to believe Rowdy's popping up the steps. Down and in, 2 and 2. Travis Shaw's got a bat in hand, too, just in case. This could go a number of different directions. Inside, 3 and 2. Tate thought he had him. And he'll take a walk. And now we'll see what happens next.
And that's the way the 9th inning began yesterday. And here comes Derek Fisher off the bench. He's going to take over as a pinch runner at first base. Joe Panic walked in the 9th inning to start that against Cole Susler yesterday. Espinal came off the bench to pinch run for him, and he would score. He scored the first of 2 runs, and now Blue Jays have the winning run on first.
And now if you're the Orioles, do you assume a bunt is coming? The fact that Jansen's hitting for himself?
Yes, Jansen has 2 bunts so far this season.
Takes it low, ball 1.
He and Reese McGuire have both done a pretty good job in these situations, getting the bunt down, moving the runner along.
We can see on one of our side monitors here, Ruiz wasn't in very tight at third before that. He's in much tighter now. Popped up. Fisher back safely, but they don't advance him. 1 down. Nunez motioning as if he thinks they might have doubled off Fisher.
Well, you can't even make it close. When that bunt goes in the air, you got to hustle back to first base. And look at Fisher. He takes a step towards second when the ball is bunted in the air to make it a lot closer than it should have been. As soon as that ball comes off the bat and it goes up, you got to get back to first base. I mean, even if it drops safely, it's still not your responsibility. You got to read the ball, the flight of the ball off the bat.
So now Panic, who is 2 for 3 with a single and a double, and he hits the ball well to right field, but coming over to make the catch, Santander, and that's the 2nd out as Fisher has to get it back to first. And now we will see, it looks like, Travis Shaw Not Rowdy Tellez.
Well, this is a move to just utilize one batter. If you use Tellez, you'd have to use Shaw to play defense, and so Panic, the third baseman, will move to short for Espinal, and then Shaw will take over defensively. So, it might be a different situation had there not been 2 outs. But in this situation, you just want to use one guy, because in a tie game, you're going to go to that extra inning situation, and you still have Reese McGuire, Rowdy Tellez on the bench.
If you go to extra innings, McGuire will have to come in and catch. Oh no, Jansen. I'm sorry, Jansen bunted, so he stayed. So you still will have Rowdy and McGuire. If Shaw makes an out here, he'll be the runner to start the bottom of the 10th. So the winning run at first with 2 down. Derek Fisher, the pinch runner, after the Vogelback walk, and Shaw takes high ball 1. Given his flair for the dramatic, if Shaw can get on base somehow, I think a lot of Blue Jay fans would be happy to see Biggio come up with a winning run in scoring position. Runner is going. Throw down on a bounce, and they got him. So an inning that started in very promising fashion ends anything but. On to extra innings. So the Blue Jays have asked to look at a review of that play at second base, feeling that maybe Derek Fisher beat the throw. Left foot to the bag, tagged down on the right knee.
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to tell from that angle, but at the same time, Marty Foster, the crew chief, Alan Porter, the next in seniority, along with Marty Foster. Foster made the call at second base, and he's going to uphold it, and that'll be it.
So we'll step aside again. The Blue Jays and Orioles are going to extra innings in Buffalo.
The thing about him, left-handers very, very effectively, and it's done a nice job there. Travis Shaw, who entered the game as a pinch hitter, was standing at home plate when Fisher was thrown out. He takes over at third. With that, the starting third baseman Joe Panic moves over to short. Santiago Espinal is out of the game.
Mason Williams is the runner at second for the Orioles, and it's the top of the order for Baltimore: Alberto, Santander, and Iglesias.
Yeah, this is the toughest part of their order for sure.
And he's going to try to bunt for a base hit. Throw to first. Just in time to get him. Good play by Cole with Biggio covering.
Boy, very good play by Cole. I didn't know he was going to get his body turned around to a position where he could make a throw, but he made a nice play of it. Williams moves from second to third. He barehands it and then plants his right foot and fires just in time to get Alberto. Alberto was bunting for a base hit, and he dropped down a beauty.
I think they'll still credit him with a sacrifice, even though clearly he was trying to bunt for a base hit on the play. And now the Orioles want to have a look at it to see if Alberto beat it out.
Well, there have been so many of these close games, and we have highlighted the Blue Jays' ability to come back. They've had 2 walk-off wins in this 4-game series so far. 2 of the 3 games have been decided with a walk-off, and here's that play at first base.
He's out.
Looks to be out.
Yeah.
Another look at it. This might give you a better idea. Looked like the ball was in the glove of Biggio before Alberto came down on the bag.
And again, the call on the field was out, so that
that's harder to overturn, for sure.
Yeah, that weighs in the Blue Jays' favor as well.
There's nothing really evident that it was a bad call.
Alberto's watching replays on the scoreboard in center field in Buffalo while the umpires are waiting for word from New York. Here it comes. And he's out.
Yeah, he is out. We kind of felt that was going to be the call. It looked like Alberto just a tad late at first base, but he moves the runner over to third. Now that'll bring the Blue Jays infield in.
Williams with good speed at third, one down, infield in, and three on the right side for Santander, batting for the left side against the right-hander Cole. And Shaw, as you can see, very close to third base right now, not wanting to let Williams get too much of a running start, so there's a big hole at the shortstop spot. Santander today, a couple of doubles already, has scored a run, driven in a run. Panic, Biggio, Guerrero all on the right side of the infield. Trying to prevent the Orioles from taking the lead. And it's 1-1.
Cole using that fastball very effectively to start this at bat. Missed inside. Got the foul tip up in the zone. He can throw that slider down and in very effectively to left-handed hitters. And Cole uses a full complement of pitches. He threw fastball, slider, cut it occasionally, but primarily fastball, slider.
One. Jammed him, popped it up, but it's back out of play, and it's 1-2. See that strip of sunlight going right across home plate right now, with the rest of the infield in shade. 1-2 pitch on the way. Golfed in the air to right field. Hernandez now coming in. Still coming in. Here comes the runner. Here comes the throw. He got him. What a throw by Teoscar Hernandez.
Boy, Teoscar made a throw much like that in Baltimore. He has another double play, a 9-2 double play. Danny Jansen did a good job of hanging in there, putting the tag on Mason Williams. But Teoscar set up perfectly. He laid back the ball. All of his momentum was going directly to home plate. He has picked up his fourth outfield assist. Of course, this situation is going to warrant the Orioles having a look at that play at home plate, as he moves into the ball perfectly and then uncorks a terrific throw to Danny Jansen on the fly. Jansen comes across, puts the tag on Williams, who never got close to home plate.
This one shouldn't take long at all. If you're wondering why can the Orioles challenge when they just challenged and it didn't go their way, eighth inning and beyond, you can it's past the point where you're out of challenges. You can ask the crew chief for a review in the eighth inning and beyond, even if you've lost your challenge. But this one shouldn't take long. What a great throw on the fly by Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, his fourth outfield assist, and you remember a great throw he made very similar to that in Baltimore, where he threw out a runner at home plate on a same fly ball situation. Danny Jansen's positioned perfectly, waiting for the throw, and it's on the fly, so when he gets it, he comes right across home plate and tags out the runner to end the inning.
Headsets coming off, and the side is retired. To the bottom of the 10th, one run will win it. The trades can get there and get through COVID protocols. 6 o'clock Eastern time, Blue Jays Central. First pitch just after 6:30. You can see it on Sportsnet 1. Best guess now is that Julian Merriweather would start that game. He hasn't pitched yet in this one. If the Blue Jays can win it right here, they can have all kinds of options for tomorrow.
Well, Cesar Valdez made his first appearance in this series, and he really baffled the Blue Jays. Valdez pitched 3 innings, allowed just 1 hit, walked a batter, and struck out 5. He threw 46 pitches on Saturday evening. And he is going to throw you a bunch of off-speed pitches. Joe Panic is the runner at second. He's reminding himself where the outfielders are. And Travis Shaw was at the plate when the inning ended last time.
And lots of high 70s frisbee changeups from Cesar Valdez. We saw him baffle a few Blue Jay hitters in his prior outing.
Shaw faced him on Saturday night and flied out to right field.
At the very least, if you can just pull a ground ball. If something better than that happens, great. But if you just pull a ground ball, you can get him over.
Well, if you can't pull this guy, you're not going to pull anybody.
I was trying to be a little more delicate about it, but I think you made the point clear. Shift on with 3 on the right side, as Shaw always sees. He's in the number 9 spot, so it's Biggio and Grichuk after him. Winning run at second. That one down to 75 as he falls behind 2-1. I mean, you never want really to hit a ball on the ground, but in this situation, you kind of want to hit a ball on the ground. You don't want to pop it up.
No, you don't want to pop it up.
Yeah. He hit it on the ground. He'll advance the runner.
That's terrific. And that's what you want to do. If you can't drive him in, at least move that runner over to third. Now there's 1 out. And the Blue Jays have been real good at cashing in those runners from third, less than 2 outs.
And now there's going to be a meeting on the mound. You think there's any chance they walk Biggio and set up a double play?
Boy, that is so hard to do, isn't it? But there is a possibility, I guess. When you look back to that outing on Saturday for Valdez, Kevin Biggio, he had a base hit off of him, little infield base hit. Grichuk struck out and reached on a wild pitch. Now they're going to bring an outfielder in to play the infield. That's what they're going to do. So they're going to pitch to Biggio and bring a outfielder in and have a 5-man infield. So you can see everybody's trying to get position. Mountcastle has been an infielder, so he's the left fielder that will come in and play on the infield. And Alberto's directing traffic. He's moving the guys in the outfield around. Mountcastle is a natural shortstop. He's played third in the minor leagues, and he's going to take over, basically lined up at third base. And now Rio Ruiz is up the middle. He's going to switch with Iglesias, and Iglesias is going to go back on the first base side of second. Alberto's between Nunez and Iglesias. So a 5-man infield, 2 outfielders, and they're basically in the alleys in right, center, and left.
And a chance for Kevin Biggio to walk it off for the Blue Jays with the winning run 90 feet away. 0-1. So if you're Shaw, you were fine with hitting it on the ground. If you're Biggio, you're thinking hit it in the air.
Yeah, you just got to get it deep enough to the outfield. You see the outfield, how shallow they are as well.
0-2.
Yeah, in the outfield, you can't play beyond your arm strength. So you've got to come in and play shallow. Just get to a point where you say, okay, I can throw out a runner at home from here. That's why they are shallow in the outfield.
Fastball at 86 inside for ball 1.
That's his best heater. But he's always trying to get to that changeup. Blue Jays have had 2 walk-offs in this series.
The 1-2. And Biggio hooks it down the line. Cannot keep it fair. Just too far out in front of the changeup. The last time the Blue Jays had 3 walk-off wins in a 4-game span was 25 years ago. Anthony Bass will work the 11th if it goes that far. Biggio would like to give him the day off. Again the 1-2. And Biggio hits a little squibber to the left side. Panic will stay at third, and they'll throw out Biggio 2 down.
Well, how about that? Cavan, who's been so good at staying back, was out in front. Valdez throws him a very good changeup, and he cues it off the end of the bat. Panic at third base had to hold his ground, and now there are 2 outs.
Well, there's a guy who knows a thing or two about walking people off, and recently too.
Well, they didn't pitch to him yesterday.
Yeah.
In a similar situation with 2 outs. They walked him, and then would eventually walk Travis Shaw on a very close pitch to load the bases.
Looks like they'll pitch to him here. They could think about putting him on and pitching to Guerrero, but they will pitch to Grichuk. Bouncer to third. Ruiz dug out at first by Nunez, and the Blue Jays can't push the winning run across, and we will go to the 11th.
That walk-off base, Oscar Hernandez. Bass gave up a base hit, and Ruiz started the inning with a base hit, came around to score the 5th run that gave the Orioles the lead, because Jose Iglesias, the batter here, was safe on an infield hit.
So Santander at second as Iglesias leads off the 11th inning. And Bass falls behind 2-0. Well, each team with a great opportunity in the 10th. Teoscar Hernandez throwing out a runner at the plate to end the top half of the inning, and then the Blue Jays had the winning run at third with 1 out, and Biggio and Grichuk coming up and couldn't get the run in. And now a fly ball to left center field, and this will get all the way to the fence. Rounding third, chugging home, Santander, RBI double Iglesias. Baltimore leads.
Iglesias has had a good series. That's his 2nd RBI of the afternoon. Santander scores for the 2nd time this afternoon. And Iglesias picks up a couple of RBIs. That gives him 13 on the season, and it's a 2-seam fastball. He turns on it and drives it up the alley in left center. Gurriel gives chase, but is well beyond his reach. He has to play it off the fence in left center. And Santander scores the go-ahead run.
So 3-2 Orioles, and still nobody out. Here's Renato Nunez. At the knees for a strike. And 0-2, fouled it off his foot. Man, did he ever.
That one hurt.
His back foot, right?
Yeah, and you can see he doesn't wear shin guards. And this one will go on his back foot. Very unusual to see this happen, but you can see it hit right on top of his foot.
Nobody's coming out to talk to him. They're just going to let him walk it off.
They have no moves.
You know what? That's a great point. They don't have anybody else. They'd have to put a pitcher in.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're hurt or not.
Right.
You got to hit.
Great point by you. Oh, 2. Good block by Jansen. The Blue Jays still have Reese McGuire and Rowdy Tellez on their bench.
That's right. It's imperative here for Anthony to strand this base runner. I know there's nobody out, but You don't want to give up another run.
Got him to chase. One down. Yeah,
Back into this bullpen, excuse me,
Yep.
Dan, has really been good. And, you know, that's a terrific breaking ball, 87 miles an hour in a good spot. And Nunez, he didn't want anything to do with this pitch after fouling a ball off his foot. He just took a weak hack at it, and this will be Brian Holiday batting for the first time. He took over behind the plate.
The third catcher for the Orioles. Down the right field line. It is well hit and a fair ball. And another run will come in. It'll be a double for Holiday. It is 4-2 for Baltimore.
For Holiday, that's his first extra base hit of the season. Just his 5th hit overall, but it's a big one for the Orioles as he drives home Jose Iglesias. Fastball, and he just goes the other way with it and keeps it fair, goes all the way down into the right field corner. Teoscar doesn't have a play on it as that ball was hit hard to the right field corner, and Holiday drives in the second run this inning.
And now the batter is Chance Sisco. Well, this will be one if the Blue Jays don't come back to win it, where they'll look back at an 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position on the day. The only 2 runs they scored were on an error.
Yeah.
Right. On the same
Alberto
play.
made a throwing error on Kevin Biggio. It would have been the 3rd out of the inning, and they'd have been shut out.
Oh, 2. They appeal down to third. He didn't go. Ball 1. Blue Jays will have Guerrero, Hernandez, and Gurriel coming up in the bottom of the 11th inning, down by at least 2. And he did check it.
Yeah, how many times can you come back, you know?
Yeah.
They've done it twice in this series so far, and they're going to have to do it another time here this afternoon.
Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But you got to keep thinking, hey, the still got a chance. The new rule helps. I mean, if you hold them to 2, you start off the inning with the tying run at the plate.
Absolutely.
Ryan Mountcastle on deck, and Jacob Waguespack is up in the bullpen again. With the Jays now down a couple of runs, they don't want Bass to throw too many pitches. A fly ball to center field. Drifting back is Grichuk, and he'll make the grab for the second out. The runner went halfway, and Holiday goes back.
Now batting the left fielder, number 6, Ryan Mountcastle.
So Ryan Mountcastle will come up. 1 for 4. Had a base hit back in the 7th inning. A busy day with the trade deadline coming and going, and the Blue Jays acquiring 3 players today. Robbie Ray from Arizona, Jonathan Villar from Miami, and Ross Stripling from the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and obviously now the front office, coaching staff, the manager will all sit down and talk about the next move and how they clear roster space for those acquisitions.
0-2. Yeah, there'll be some fairly tough decisions to make, and if guys like Giles and Bichette are back at some point in the next week to 10 days or something, more moves will have to be made. But good problems to have if you can get guys back like Ken Giles and Bo Bichette. You can see who's coming up for the Jays, bottom of the 11th. Checked it, ball 1.
Yeah, Ross Stripling's an interesting guy. He's got a very good curveball. He's a guy that can start. He can pitch in long relief, but he's got some veteran presence that's going to be valuable for them down in that bullpen. Coming from a pedigree organization, of course.
And the one guy they acquired who's not a free agent at the end of the year. Chased there, and Mountcastle down on strikes to retire the side. Bass frustrated. The Blue Jays have their work cut out for them. Down 2. And as we said, the good news is they've got the tying run at the plate already, thanks to the new rule.
Valdez has really baffled the Blue Jays hitters in the 2 outings that they have faced him. He's a former Blue Jay. He's pitched basically all around the world, and he is throwing a lot of changeups. We've seen one fastball that was 86, and that's how he tops out. So Grichuk will take second base, as Blue Jays will have him start this inning as the runner at second. Vladdy Guerrero's had a rough day at the plate. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
And he faced Valdez a couple of times and went 0 for 2 against him, a strikeout and a fly ball. That was back on Saturday. It's a little bouncer. This could be tricky. And he is just out. Guerrero out by a half step on a bouncer to the right side as the play is made by Ruiz. 1 down as Grichuk comes to third. And that's Holiday at first base right now. I think they've lost their DH and moved people around, right?
Cisco's gone behind the plate, so they have lost their DH.
Oscar Hernandez.
Oscar cued a ball off the end of the bat for a double back in the 4th. He's 1 for 4. I mean, is it too much to ask him to come through again?
Ask nicely. You never know. Takes it a little bit low. It's a ball and a strike. Gurriel, who's on deck, has had a good day. He's got a couple of doubles this afternoon. Well, that's the one that's given the right-handed batters of the Blue Jays all kinds of trouble.
Yeah, it's just kind of a slinging changeup that he turns over a little bit, and it's actually got a big hump in it, and it almost looks like a old-fashioned screwball coming in there.
He's another one is for the right-handed batters. As much as he doesn't throw hard at all, you kind of got to think opposite field on this guy, right? And he got him. 2 down.
Now batting the left fielder, number 13,
Just a change up at 80 miles an hour. You can see the grip. He has that circle change grip, and he kind of turns his hand over and rolls it in there. It's been very effective for him.
So it's up to Gurriel. Again, he represents the tying run, but the Blue Jays are down to their final out. Little looper off the end of the bat will get down for a base hit, and Gurriel keeps it alive as he drives in Grichuk to make it a 1-run game. And now Rowdy Tellez is going to come up. Derek Fisher was in this spot after running for Daniel Vogelbach, the DH, and it'll be Rowdy Tellez in his place.
Well, they have the tying run at first base, the winning run at the plate. Rowdy has had some big moments. He grounded out against Valdez on Saturday.
He sends it hard but foul down the right side. Had a good cut at it. It's 0-1. Two in the top half of the Orioles. The Blue Jays have gotten one back. The 0-1 on the way. 0-2. It's almost like a knuckleball. You know, if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go. If it looks like it's going to be mid-thigh, it's going to be down below your knees by the time it gets to the plate.
It doesn't have enough velocity to carry all the way to home plate. You just have to be patient enough to say that it's not going to be a strike.
0-2. And it's hit to right field, and it is down. On his way to third is Gurriel. He's rounding. He's coming home, and he is out at the plate. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. tries to score from first on a shot down the line off the bat of Tellez, but he is out at the plate.